You know I like the Current seafood counter.
Yeah, right there in College Park.
Yeah, I go there all the time. In fact, I was there last week to get my daughter her 2 orders of peel and eat shrimp because she is an animal. They got a new concept. It's the Current Seafood Bar, so it's pretty much the same thing, but I'm looking at the pictures right now. Yep. This is downtown Sanford, right next to the Sullivan.
Yeah, right across from Hollabox.
Yeah, it is absolutely beautiful new seafood restaurant. Now, this you guys knew they had a Sanford location before. It was inside Henry's Depot.
Yeah.
This is its own deal. This is a freestanding, its own restaurant. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Brand new, the Current Seafood Bar in downtown Sanford. And I'm guessing it's so almost connected to the Sullivan, so you could...
Yeah, Mike Smith owns the Sullivan.
That's badass.
He's the owner of the Current. Go by there in Sanford, get some delicious seafood.
Sandwiches, the lobster roll, salads, pasta, baskets. They got the craft beers from the Northeast.
Yeah, they got the cocktails.
Yeah, $7 cocktails, man. You're not going to find a cheaper or stronger cocktail. They do a really, really nice job. I love this place.
Yeah, and when you go by, tell them Tom and Dan sent you. The Current's been a great advertiser of ours for a while. We've worked with Mike Smith for over a decade with Sofa and Suds and everything. And go by the Sullivan as well. That's his bar.
Here's a tip. Go to the Sullivan and order yourself just a nice beer at an Irish bar.
Yeah.
And then get some Old Bay fries to go, to pick at. Get some of those Old Bay fries from the Current, and you'll be set.
Yeah, if you want some delicious seafood, the Current Seafood Counter right there in College Park, and also the brand new Current Seafood Bar in downtown Sanford. Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. We're live on Twitch and we're live on YouTube. Come hang out. We've been adding all kinds of brand new videos on there. Tons of people have been joining us. The YouTube channel is just...
SJ has done an unbelievable job on our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And the amount of work he's put into it, the way it looks, is super polished. I like it.
Yeah. On Fridays, if you love watching or listening to our Friday Free Show, there's a bunch of little Easter eggs that he adds in there. He puts a lot of custom work into the video. And we can't thank him enough. Thank you, buddy, for making us look really, really good. So just head on over to YouTube and search for @Tom and Dan Live.
From the Orlando Talk Show, Ross McCoy is here. How you doing, Ross?
Hey, guys.
That's the best one you've done.
Oh, is it?
That was pretty good.
That was pretty good. That was a pretty good one, too.
I got jazzed up for me.
Yeah, you didn't even make it awkward.
Yeah. Only took me 15 years.
Well, you got it.
Yeah, that's fine.
You got it. Better late than never.
You're going to need a drummer to beat that one.
So let me explain.
I've much wanted a cymbal and a stick in here for many, many years, but he won't let me get
startled
one.
that you don't have that.
The only news stories I get is from the social media because I don't consume any news programs or anything.
Yeah.
But my social media, when I'm scrolling, it'll show me news stories, and then that's how. And then I'm like, oh, this happened or whatever,
A lot of news stories about young girls in clown makeup for some reason.
and then all of a sudden a news story pops up over the weekend. Mark Sanchez in the hospital from a stabbing.
Yeah, that's that popped up in the garage. I was in the garage with my wife and daughter trying to decide what we were going to do for lunch. We're deciding on, are we going to go to Big Dave's Cheesesteaks and try that out? That's a new one. I haven't tried that.
Yeah.
And then it came through. It's like he's in at first it said he's in critical condition.
Yeah.
What is this, like a Last Boy Scout scenario where somebody on the field pulled out a knife and stabbed him?
It was more like a him scenario where it was like a demonic, satanic presence and a council of beings, a council of rich billionaires.
I'll explain. Mark Sanchez, former NFL quarterback.
Mark Dirty Sanchez.
And his current analyst for the NFL, but he hasn't played in a while. 38 years old, still a big dude. When I saw that story, I was like, oh, maybe it's a Ricky Pearsall scenario. Someone tried to rob him or something.
I can see that.
He's traveling around as an analyst in the NFL.
Got a nice watch on.
Yeah, something like that. Maybe try to get because they get former NFL player, current analyst, celebrity getting stabbed. I'm thinking robbery scenario, right?
Because when I'm out there to rob somebody, I look for giants.
Yeah, you're right. He's a big dude. And so then I see another, Mark Sanchez stabbed, and going to jail. And I'm like, whoa, like, this is weird. He's going to jail.
Yeah.
And then like charged.
It's a lot to be stabbed these days.
And I'm like,
here's the quote. It says, Sanchez is still in the hospital and will be booked into the adult detention center. Like, this dude is, they're going to, as soon as he gets out, he's
straight
going
to jail.
He's going to jail.
And so then I'm like, what? And it's like in a parent battery case or whatever. So I'm like, wow, that's weird. So then immediately I was like, domestic dispute, right? So like, because that's
football
the
player,
other.
because football player.
Yeah. Like,
Right. This guy's got a ton of testosterone.
Like, remember,
his wife stabbed him. It was self-defense.
Like, remember when Tiger Woods' ex-wife was hitting him with the golf club?
Well, she bashed out the windows of his SUV with a golf club.
And then
as he drove away.
Hitting a car, not him.
Yeah. But it could be maybe like you get in a fight with your old lady, things get out of control.
You ever thrown anything at your old lady?
She stabs you.
That's not your style.
No.
Has she ever thrown anything at you?
I've never even raised my voice to Crystal.
We got to change that. This year that changes.
How
this year
crazy is that?
changes. Yeah. In 2026, I want you to yell at her one time. A medium yell.
No.
Just a medium. Like, I can't handle it.
Never raised my voice.
Me and my wife had a fight one time where between the two of us, we broke every plate in the house.
No, really? My God.
Yeah, you know what that is? After that, that's the sex. After that is amazing. Like, literally amazing sex. You guys are kissing each other like you've never kissed each other before.
Shards,
oh, my God. That's you're connected for life after that sex, man. After you've broken everything in your house and you're boofing on top of a pile of plates.
We had really nice plates, too.
So I'm like,
sometimes you just got to get it out, man.
He got stabbed. He's going to jail. Domestic violence. Yeah. I'm like that, and then the story.
I like how you, instead of reading the story, just make it all up.
That's what Everest does. This is what he'll look at it and be like, I know what's happening here.
That's what the world does. I don't have time. But you know what the problem is? Reading the article, I have to get through 10 X's of Xing out the damn ads. All the pop-up
I'm doing
ads.
that right now.
And then I gotta
try and get you the details.
I got to subscribe to the Wall Street Journal to read that. I'm not doing any of it. I'm just going to make up the story in my head.
Here, want me to read it to you?
Yeah.
IMPD was investigating a physical disturbance that happened near Senate Avenue and West Washington Street on October 4th, 2025, around 12:30 a.m., the statement said. The incident involved 2 adult males, resulting in one man receiving lacerations and the other sustaining injuries consistent with stab wounds. Detectives believe this was an isolated incident between the 2 men and not a random act of violence.
So it turns out, after reading the story, and I'm sure a lot of people maybe read it, but nowadays with the media, things get out so like everybody wants to get it out the quickest.
So it doesn't matter if it's accurate.
Yeah, it's also incomplete. Like the full story isn't out, so you only get little snippets.
Used to wait. Like, don't print that yet because we want to get the full story. Now we're like, I can't wait, I'll make it up. You're the journalist.
Well, the world is full of me, and that's going to be bad. Real bad.
I like you.
So the story apparently is Mark Sanchez late at night. Now he's traveling because he's an analyst in the NFL.
Right.
So he's calling a game the next day. This happened on Saturday night, I believe, right?
Yeah. And he's got to work on Sunday.
And he says, like, I got a story here that has like him and some witnesses' statements. His official statement is that all he could remember was, quote, grabbing for a window, end quote.
Yeah, because
that's all he remembers.
Because you're an alcoholic, you're waiting on your Uber Eats, you're trying to Hasselhoff a hamburger, and you ended up stabbing an old man who didn't have his hearing aids. You stabbed a deaf old man, you monster.
No, he didn't. The old man stabbed him.
No, but he beat the old man up first. The old man was defending himself, but he threw the old man without hearing aids against a wall.
So,
have you seen the old man's face?
I did, and I cannot even understand how he got a laceration like that on his cheek. I guess he threw him against the dumpster.
It looks like he threw him like at a dumpster.
So apparently, Mark Sanchez late on Saturday night was waiting for the Uber Eats, wasted, blacked out, drunk.
Well, the Uber Eats part is not confirmed. That is, I've read that in a couple stories. A couple other stories, he was just in the back alleyway between the Westin Hotel and another hotel while this old man was collecting grease.
Yeah, and so this old guy in a truck was collecting grease from, I guess, the hotel restaurant. An altercation happened between this old man and Mark Sanchez.
Well, it's confirmed that apparently Mark Sanchez spoke with the manager of the hotel, and there's some confusion, but it's like Mark Sanchez was trying to police the alleyway for the manager of the hotel. There are confirmed reports that Mark Sanchez was telling this old man in the truck, like, hey, your truck can't be here.
Yeah.
I'm like, Mark Sanchez, you work for the NFL.
You're a millionaire.
What are you doing? Go back to your hotel room and lay down.
Yeah. So apparently, he's, Daniel said he's had a drinking problem for a little bit. At least other situations
I'm
have
just
happened.
saying in 06, I mean, the reason he got yelled at because of that little, essay, type deal that he was getting into wasn't necessarily that he sexually assaulted somebody, but they definitely got him on underage drinking. So that was 06. He's been drunk for a long time.
Well, I mean, it would be hard for him to be an alcoholic in the NFL, at that high of a level.
I don't know.
But maybe he just, once he got out and once he could start drinking, it's...
You think it'd be hard to be an alcoholic working 1 day a week?
No, he's saying while he was playing in the NFL.
No, I'll hear there are probably zero alcoholics in the NFL.
I love there are probably zero. The probably is the one I like.
Or just
if you were that confident, you'd say there's none.
Yeah, it would just be nearly impossible.
There's got to be one. There's one.
I tend to agree with you just because they can probably afford better drugs.
Yeah.
Well, Matt Bryant, I feel like towards the end of
testing.
his kicking years, he definitely could have been an alcoholic.
A kicker could have been.
Yeah.
Hey,
I think Alcoholic Kicker is a movie. That's a Danny McBride movie.
Yeah. But anyway, so he gets in this altercation, and the old man stabs Mark Sanchez. First, he pepper sprays him.
I have a police breakdown of a video if you want to hear it. So this video, it's kind of a mix between like the whatever this reporter is for the Indy Star and a police spokesman. So video shows Sanchez approaching the driver's door of a large box truck in an alley. He opened the door, began a conversation with the man who was struggling to understand because he wasn't wearing his hearing aids, he told police. Video shows the two have an interaction at the driver's side door after Sanchez follows a man who is seen walking backwards away from him. Sanchez is seen running after the man, and video shows Mr. Sanchez grabbing and throwing the man towards the wall of the Westin Hotel. Fight continues in the alley between a large dumpster and the truck before moving to the middle of the alley. So they got a whole like
this is like a video game.
Yeah, it's like a cartoon. They're in a big,
like Double Dragon video game. You're fighting in an alleyway with a dumpster.
They're in a big cloud of dust.
River City Ransom.
Hands punching out. Mr. Sanchez is then seen throwing the man to the ground on the west side of the alley. The man told police he reached into his pocket and pulled out pepper spray and sprayed Sanchez.
Can you pause for 1 second? Mm-hmm. It's got to be really fun if you're as big as Mark Sanchez to toss around a dumb old man. I just want to say that it's got to be fun, right? You're like, oh, take this. I mean, like a bullfighter.
The guy's 69. Mark Sanchez is 38. Former NFL football player. Yeah. He's like 6. I mean, he's got to be 6'4", 6'5",
and not just a schlub. He was a good
250.
He was good.
Oh yeah.
When my kids were littler, my favorite thing was like get up on the bed and wrestle them. Where I'm a giant and they're little and I can just toss them around. Like imagine that with real stakes. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, man. And I think we should all wrestle old men in the alleyways.
And then what after
pepper sprays them, but the former NFL quarterback just wiped it away. The man thought, this guy's trying to kill me, so he pulled out his knife, and when Sanchez came at him, the man struck him 2 or 3 times with the knife, he told police.
Wow.
The man said Sanchez looked at him with a look of shock, slowly turned around, and took off northbound in the alley. Arriving officers found him inside the bar next to the alley.
I just went to the bar.
Got stabbed and went to get a drink.
Who, Mark Sanchez?
Yes.
That's confirming my suspicions of alcoholism.
That's a real man, dude. you beat up some old man, you get stabbed, and you go to the bar.
And stabbed.
Yeah.
That stuff doesn't just go away.
I've been drunk and pepper sprayed as a jackass bit in the first stunt, and it is hard to function. Like we did a pepper spray boxing match, and even though like you crumble, like you can't see, you're snotting, your face
it's
is
the snot, yeah.
You
start mucus. Your mucus is like trying to flush it out by producing more.
And it's not like you could real man just fight through it. I mean, your sinuses and your eyes.
Mark Sanchez can. You can't, but Mark Sanchez.
You're right.
He went to the bar. You need to drink more. You've been cutting back on your drinking. What if alcohol was the cure to pepper spray?
So
unconfirmed in the chat room. TTV no number 1 Buckeye 23 says the old man sprayed Mark with pepper spray. We do know that, but he's saying there's unconfirmed that Mark Sanchez is saying his drink was spiked.
Oh, of course
you got to say
it. Well, you're a lawyer. You call your $1 million lawyer, and you just start coming up with anything.
You got to do the ditty.
Yeah. You would say that it's someone spiked my drink with a gallon of rum.
That's one of my favorite jokes you've ever said.
But guess what, Sanchez? No one spiked your drink. You blacked out, and you were blacked out, and you had probably the fact that you were even questioning something that's none of your business means that your personality is probably a D-head, like overly controlling, like wanting to police people.
Yeah, like this old man shouldn't be doing this, so I'm going to fix the problem.
Yeah. And then if you're an alcoholic with that personality, like all it takes is one random incident, like the perfect scenario.
It's a hook for you then, right?
Like
you're addicted to it.
Sanchez could have gone his whole life without going to jail because one of these incidents didn't happen. But this did, and it was the perfect storm for altercation that ended in you getting stabbed and pepper sprayed and going to jail now for battery. It's like all this didn't need to happen, of course.
Yeah.
And but your personality, especially when you're blacked out, your true personality sometimes comes out, and you're like, hey, let me go see what this old man's doing. Like,
I'm going to beat up this old man because I'm deep down inside, I hate myself so much that I'm going to beat somebody up tonight.
Also,
there are people like that.
The fact that you can get that drunk and then the next day, I guess the game is probably a 1 o'clock game, but yeah, that's pretty impressive that you could be that hungover and call an NFL game.
I'm not saying. Well, they did replace him for yesterday, so he didn't do anything yesterday.
No, of course,
but this can't be the first time.
Most viewed football game in the world ever if he does it from the hospital bed stabbed.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool, right?
But could you imagine, you going and doing a broadcast the next day at 1 and you're that blacked out?
Yeah, you just go puke a few times.
I can. I used to do morning radio. I'd come in, I'd roll it, I'd set everything up. I'm running the whole board. It's not my best work, but I did it. I'll keep us on the air.
I got news for you. I'm pretty hungover right now.
I know.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but doing this good, we're just all BSing. I was like, being on TV and having to know players' names and call a football game. I guess if he did it all his life,
it's easy for him.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. I bet you he does it. All of them hungover.
Yeah. You're right.
I mean, why wouldn't he?
Probably couldn't do it without being hungover.
Now there's something to that too. So what happens here? I mean, obviously this old man sues the pants off of him, right?
Let's go back to, because I know you don't believe in roofies, Tom, but there are documented cases of dudes maybe out with a nice Rolex on, and somebody slips him a Mickey and follows him home and steals their watch or their wallet or whatever. That's on the record. That has happened.
Yeah.
It happens. What if we get some video where somebody drops something in this guy's drink?
Oh, if you got video of it, yeah.
I mean, every bar is video recorded now, so they just got to. And then he ends up in the hospital minutes later. They're going to do a blood test. If some rufinol or something shows up in his blood, do we give him a pass?
Oh, if he got roofied and it shows up in his blood, Heat Up BDM in our Twitch chat room says, my old boss said his drink got spiked by a young kid. My boss stole a police car. Yeah, I think that's what you say when you do dumb things. You say my drink was spiked.
Yeah.
I one time said my drink was spiked at Club La Vila when I went up to Real Radio Studios. I ran the Monsters Best Of, completely out of my mind, hammered, still drunk, and I gave away Fatboy Slim tickets.
Yeah.
And here's the problem. We didn't have any Fatboy Slim tickets to give away, but I was giving them away live on the air.
Yeah, not that it's never happened. I'm just saying it probably happens way less frequently than people make excuses for your drink is spiked.
Sure.
That's all I'm saying.
Right.
And now, but you're right. Now with video evidence, they can go back and look at the bar on the video and be like, here's your drink. No one's by it the whole night. And then there's you beating up an old man. You know what I'm saying? Here's you ordering 15 drinks and drinking them all.
And here's you walking into the alleyway waiting for food. And here you are throwing a small little old man. He's a little old man.
I mean, there's video.
Slight.
There's some, video of it.
I've been looking for that all morning.
And so it's and then even, maybe if your drink did get spiked, it's kind of also you still beat up an old man for no reason. It doesn't totally excuse your behavior. Maybe it helps you not get as penalized, but still, it's no matter how effed up you are, it shouldn't give you any excuse to go and beat up an old man that was, that had nothing to do with anything that you were doing.
Can we go back to the old man for a second? Because I do have a gripe with him. You're collecting grease and driving a truck. Wear your goddamn hearing aids. I'm serious. You got to have your hearing aids in, man. You just got to do it. And you take some responsibility for that.
Here's the problem with that.
You got to have your hearing aids in.
Is that
it's dangerous.
If your truck's loud, maybe you don't want those hearing aids in.
Doesn't matter what you want.
Yeah, but it's
unsafe to drive with no ears, Tom. It's unsafe.
You can drive deaf.
I don't think you can. Look,
if the blacked out Mark Sanchez is waiting to beat you up.
Even if you can, this is maybe a hot take. Mm-hmm. I'm anti, because I feel like you need your ears. What if I'm like, hey, move your car, help! And then you're just like, ain't fine.
You can legally drive deaf.
No, I think we need to change that. And I think we will this year. We've been making a lot of changes.
You've been doing this fine. If Mark Sanchez isn't waiting to beat you up, then you never had a problem.
It's too dangerous. Is it the only one
you don't have to hear?
Is it the only, you can't drive blind, obviously, and you can drive without legs and arms. We know that.
Yeah.
You don't need taste to drive.
No, don't need taste. You don't need hearing. Eyes is really the only one you need.
It's true.
Yeah. Okay. You could drive.
You guys want to live in that world? That's fine. I feel like it's very dangerous. Very dangerous.
So this,
what's the difference between this guy driving deaf and me driving, listening to The Weeknd at like 50 on my stereo? You know, there's no difference.
That's an excellent point. Mm-hmm. That's an excellent point. I don't feel like you should either be allowed to do that. I want to start taking away some liberties.
So they released a picture because at first when I came in here this morning, like no picture of the guy was the old man that got beat up was released. So I was going to come in here defending a monster and defending Mark Sanchez. I was like, well, okay, well, you got thrown up against a dumpster, but you stabbed Mark Sanchez multiple times and you pepper sprayed him.
Excessive force, man. Good God.
In my mind, I was like, I think even Steven, you got thrown up against a dumpster, you get to stab a guy a couple times, pepper spray him. He's going to
call it a night.
He's going to lose his NFL career, and then it's done. And no one has to go to jail.
Right.
But then I saw pictures of him, and he's got a gigantic cut on his cheek through his mouth.
Yeah, it went cut his cheek open.
And then it went into his tongue, and I was like, how the hell did he get cut in his face that bad? He must have cut himself in the dumpster, or in the stabbing, he cut himself with his own knife or something, but he looked rough.
And his family got in front of it fast, which seems to be the way that you do things, right? So what do? You go to the hospital, you take the pictures of the old man, because EJ's right. In our Twitch chat room, EJ's saying, for the first 10 minutes, everybody was you. Everybody was like, oh, my God, poor Mark Sanchez. Why would somebody stab him, right? For the first 10 minutes, we were all like, oh, my God. And then you start reading the story, and you're like, oh, wow, this is a...
Because you can't even comprehend, this guy, a super successful former NFL player analyst that's a millionaire, getting, in an altercation for zero reason with a guy that had nothing to do with you, and then beating him up, and then the guy having to stab you to stop
you off.
It's like... That would be we can't even understand or comprehend why this happened.
And the old man's legal team, they take the photos, and they get those teed up and ready to go last night, midnight, boom, and he
deserves it.
Well, just like
he deserves whatever financial lawsuit happens after. Mark Sanchez deserves whatever punishment. It's all. It's because it's like. This all could have been prevented.
Are we kicking around legal stuff? Can I throw another thing out there that is legal and, it's interesting? You saw that they reopened Stardust Racers Saturday night.
I did see that, yeah.
And the family of the gentleman who passed away on Stardust Racers, and maybe we should call Mo, and maybe that's a better question for them.
Was he deaf and he was riding the ride deaf?
He was riding the ride deaf. And no, it was, they reopened it Saturday night, and it was interesting because they interviewed people on the news. They were like, what'd you think about it being reopened? And everybody was like, yay!
Right.
Yes, I'm running. Like, what? It's open by. Like, they're running out. Everybody's we're in. Like, nobody was like, oh, I think this is a little too soon, or this is bad. Or not even one. Not one.
That line was packed full of dads, like, elbowing their
2
kids.
hours.
Like, this is the death coaster, son.
Do you know, as soon as they opened it, they had to wait for 2 hours. I had to look that up.
Wow.
2-hour wait.
Yeah. So, I'm guessing
the family thinks it's disrespectful. They wanted them to keep it closed until they were able to access it with the people that they had lined up to do their investigation. I guess I can sort of see that, like, hey, let our guys go in and do their investigation. Universal's claiming, hey, this is working all properly. They did change something, too, and I called this, so I did get one part of this right. One part I got horribly wrong. I said it'll never function again. I was wrong about that. Saturday night, they fired that thing back up. Mm-hmm. But here's the other part I did say would happen. They are no longer allowed to assist you into the ride. If you can't get in, you don't ride. That's the change.
Okay.
And I told you they're going to tighten things. I told you they were going to tighten it because it's like now it's like they used to be able to sort of assist you, like help move your thing away and then help get you to the edge, and then you can like use your upper body strength to get in. Now, if you can't get from your assisted scooter to the ride, you're not riding.
Interesting.
That kind of stinks for people that have disabilities that want to ride that ride.
It's not fair. They should be allowed to ride it.
And then it's like, how much? Like, let's say if I'm in a wheelchair and then I'm like, do I have to? They're like, I'm sorry, I can't help you. Do I have to then crawl onto the floor and then pull myself up? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I would watch that.
And they can't.
I would watch
they're
that.
like, I'm sorry, legally I cannot assist you.
Yeah.
And then you're like, please, just lift my legs.
Dear God, I'm gonna make it.
So it stinks for the people that can't physically get on that want to ride it, because this could just be a complete anomaly. And it just a 1 out of 100 million that this person died. Who knows?
What if it was the whole like?
I mean, it seems like they wouldn't have opened the ride back up if they found any danger at all to anybody, right?
Well, I mean,
because they would be. Imagine if this happened again. You could.
Well, if it happens again, it's done.
You'd have $100 million lawsuit or something, like some ridiculous thing that we've never even seen before.
Well, my question for Mo, and maybe, and just remember that this is my question, so we can ask him when we do talk to him. The family is claiming that by reopening it, you are hindering their ability to gather what they needed to gather for their case. What do you guys think about that?
I don't know. I don't know the specifics of what they're trying to even get. It's like that's a. I could see that statement, them saying that, but then I could see the other side of like what else, like what other evidence, like we've had it closed.
What more do you need?
I don't know.
Right.
If Universal's been in there, and they more than anybody don't want people dying on this ride, like that's the last thing they
never
want.
did. I mean, it's a ride. Yeah.
So they're getting in there and making determinations to make sure that never happens again. And then whatever the state regulatory agency is over roller coasters and stuff, they've been in there too, right?
Yeah, and a third party. They had an independent come in, so it was Universal themselves. Whoever the state governing body of that particular area has been in there, and then apparently Universal hired a third-party independent roller coaster, whatever you call it, an investigator or a safety expert.
So at that point, what we're supposed to wait for you to hire like a fourth roller coaster detective to come in and investigate? Like, it seems like they've probably done their due diligence.
SJ is saying if OSHA and the state did not sign off, it would not be open, and OSHA is not easy. So I agree with all of that.
I mean,
and I feel for the family. The whole thing is like super duper tragic, man. It's really, really bad, and I can only put myself in the shoes as a sensitive person. It would not fly for me. It's open again. That doesn't fly. I can understand that. I don't necessarily know if I agree with it, but it is a business, and that ride was made to, push people through a magical land. And if it's not running, then we're not doing business.
Sure.
And both could be true. Is the ride safe? Is this a little bit disrespectful to the family?
Yes.
It's like, you're right. Both could be true. So, talking about things that happened over the weekend, you brought up the Mount Everest. Apparently a blizzard came through and trapped a lot of people on Everest, and there's a current rescue right now, and the last I saw was 200 people are still up there, and they're trying to get people down from
when they were trying to get people down, it
higher base camp.
It hit 1,400 people. It was because they were saying thousands, which this morning, and Ross read the same headline. I was like, oh my God. So they've been doing this for a minute.
Yeah.
They're using oxen and all kinds of like the Sherpa style anything that you think of like the stereotypical Sherpa animals. They're using whatever they can to get like gear and people down the mountain, and there's severe hypothermia is like a real thing. But I think yesterday they got a couple hundred people down, and they're trying again. Would you say there's 200 left?
I guess as of this morning, the last article I saw, there's 200 people up there. But what do you see, Ross?
Yeah, at least one hiker has died. More than 200 are still stranded on Everest's eastern slopes in Tibet.
So we all know, and
they've got 350 down.
Have seen documentaries on Everest. We've seen the stories over the past 10 years about the lines trying to get to the summit of Everest, and how much it's turned into a business, and how so many people have turned this into a business that it's created trash on Everest and like long lines and like the tourism aspect of it.
But the lower level base camps have become. That's why they were quoting thousands, because I asked, I did multiple research on how many visitors do you think go every year?
Oh, there's people that now just go to like base camp 1 just to say they went to the base camp. Not even to the top.
Do you know how many people went last year?
How many?
Over 100,000 people.
What? That's crazy.
Over 100. I was like, well, then you're running a Disney World there, because over. And I double checked that, and they're like the lowest.
Especially with the Instagram, like imagine like I'm base camp at Everest just for the picture with the colorful flags on the middle.
I did real numbers on this too, because I knew you would ask. Check this out. The only thing that stopped it, it's been on a steady uptick because of Instagram. This is all via AI, but because of Instagram, because of TikTok and everything, Everest has been on a steady stream of like becoming like one of the most visited places in the world. And what's very interesting is in 2015 there was a huge avalanche.
Okay.
And it killed, I want to say 50 people. And it only dipped for a couple of months. Like, there were people scared. They didn't want to go up anymore. The frame of it, the fear rules everything around me. It only literally stopped its meteoric rise for a couple of months. Right now, it's back to hitting records. I mean, they can't stop people from going there.
Although that's legitimate fear.
Because
you can't die there.
But these people were like, it only dipped for a little bit, and the lowest it ever got to was 70,000 people.
Holy cow.
So with the dip, it was still 70,000 people decided to go visit at least Base Camp 1.
Yeah, and then I'm sure like the smaller percentage, way smaller, is like actually summit Everest. And I know there's like maybe 2 times a year that the weather's nice enough.
Well, there's finite permits too. China only gives out 70, Nepal, and then they give out 500. So this year it was like 570 permits, I guess, were given out, which is a record, by the way. That's
get to the summit.
Correct.
To attempt to get to the summit.
And you have to have a permit to do that.
And because of changes, I read too that there used to be this I guess the final obstacle to get to the summit. I forgot what it was called.
The Hillary Step.
The Hillary Step has, because of weather and changes in topography, it used
to be like a little cliff you had to climb up and kind of go across.
And now it's just like a 45-degree little hill
ramp,
a ramp that you walk up. So it's easier than ever to do it
down.
But there's still like frozen dead climbers up there, and you see, and now because of influencers, like you said, it's become super popular to even go to some of the base camps and visit
Who's
Everest.
Who's the most famous person frozen up there, you wonder?
I don't know.
Sir Edmund Hillary never made it back down, so you got to figure him.
Yeah. There's got to be some famous names up there, adventurers.
There was an influencer and famous backcountry skier, there was Swedish, that climbed with no oxygen and skied down the other side of it.
Oh yeah,
and it's pretty crazy impressive. And by the way,
that's wild.
They show him skiing down, and I'm not sure how. They must have filmed him with a drone or something, because he was by himself. But what he was skiing on would look like the most dangerous terrain, but because
straight ice.
Well, it was just like cliffs on both sides and snow, but it's like it wasn't really like he's like shredding it, because there's only small areas to ski straight, and then you have to go down a little. It's like very technical. But I'm looking at him like, my God, this guy climbed up with skis and then skied down the other side of it. That's crazy.
Well,
no oxygen.
Not to piggyback on, we did a story on our Friday Free Show about vacationers that were touristing and watching elephants and the elephants charge.
Yeah.
Not to say that everything's going crazy, but they are saying that this particular blizzard that's happening, like, they never get that. This is because of climate change and because of like crazy weather. But what was interesting,
it's unpredictable as well too. They say Everest is the most unpredictable weather.
Yeah, they also said they interviewed a couple people that were they're hobbyist mountaineers, right? Like just getting into it.
Yeah.
So they are actually climbing, but they're not going to the tippy top. But they're like real climbers.
Yeah, they go to like base camp 2
or 3
at the most, or what. I don't know if it goes up.
So they interviewed these guys, and they were saying that what was weird is that like they're camping, and then like you'd wake up, and then the next you're literally like 3 feet of snow covering you. Like you're covered, and you can't even move.
Your tent is totally covered.
Just demolishes your tent, you know, just like because it's just so much snow.
Some people were saying that snow was so heavy they couldn't sleep.
Yeah,
it was like landing loudly enough to keep them awake or whatever.
Wow, yeah. Now let me ask you guys this. It feels, because of the tourism and because of all the documentaries and because of the lines to get to the summit, and we've all seen this over the past 10 years, like going to Everest or climbing Everest, it doesn't seem that impressive to me anymore. Right? Like if we had a person in here on the couch and like, they summited Mount Everest. Going to space is more rare.
Absolutely.
If they're deaf, then I'm impressed.
like I would interview them and talk about the experience, of course, but it doesn't seem like, this is a crazy feat that I can't even imagine. It's like, okay.
Well, you're used to it, right? It's been normalized.
You paid $50,000 to a company that got you up there with some like a bunch of Sherpas and oxygen, and like you're in good shape, but it's like not that impressive anymore.
You used to have to put together a whole expedition, load it onto a train, and then make it there, and then get up there. Now you can just buy a ticket and pretty much walk up.
Yeah, and then the Sherpas carry all your stuff, and they carry a bunch of oxygen bottles. Get your,
you're fat.
You're huffing.
Yeah, you can say it. You can say it. This is a safe space.
I still think you have to be in really good shape to do it.
I don't see any heavy people do it.
I don't think you can.
I
do
only
it,
see like the guy.
Yeah,
you look at the guy and you're like, you're the guy.
Yeah, but it would be me. That's like I started a couple sprint triathlons, and then I'm going to train 2 years and then climb Everest. Like I could do it if I trained a year and then like high altitude train climbing, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And if I can do it, it's not that impressive at all.
If you got enough money, they will carry you to the top and let you take a selfie up there and then carry you back down.
You know, another thing I found out is that in 2015, when they did have that landslide or whatever that killed the people, that the Sherpas went on strike and that they were like refusing to take people up. They kind of had enough, and they're like, "This is unsafe. We're not." You know, and I think
until they're like, we'll pay you double, they're like, all right, back to work.
Well, I think from what I was reading, I think the vibe that I'm getting is that like maybe the old timers Sherpas are out of the game, and that like the people that are kind of doing it now are like the new Sherpas that'll take
Gen Z
take some money. Yeah, the Gen Z Sherpas will take money, but the old timers are like, this is unsafe.
Yeah. The old timers would pray to the mountain gods, and they're like, this is a part of tradition.
Yeah, this guy's
family heritage.
He's like, I left my vape down at base camp too. I'll go get it.
Yeah. The Gen Z Sherpas like, listen, there are a bunch of rich people here. You're paying us triple what you then we'll get you rich guys, your clients up there.
There's a lot of those guys that live on and around the mountain now that just kind of full-time go and pick trash up off the mountain.
Yeah,
especially human waste, because like that's one of the you got to poop while you're up there, and there's nowhere for it to go, and it just freezes and stays there forever.
Yeah. And then the oxygen bottles and the trash, like I remember
corpses.
There was
literally just corpses everywhere.
I would probably go defecate on the corpses to cover them up.
Also, the only place you see those multicolored triangle flags. That are like blue, red, yellow, green. Like I don't.
They're flapping wildly fast.
I don't know. What are those flags for?
You know what? They're prayer flags. So like every flap of the flag is a prayer.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't believe in God. You're wasting your breath.
But you never see them except for Everest and other like
really
climbing,
windy places.
Religious places, windy religious places have prayer flags.
I don't like that the summit of Everest has like a bunch of garbage that people have left there because
what do you want?
Right.
Because it seems like
what do you want
a bunch of people.
What would be better?
Nothing.
How about a statue of alligator from the Florida Gators?
It's just like you don't want, like when you get to some place, it's supposed to be like the highest point on earth, and like
what do you want, a temple?
Like a trek to get to.
Yeah, a trek.
You want a temple with some candles?
No, I just want I want no other evidence that hundreds and hundreds of people have already been here. Like I don't need a pile of trash.
Well, you said it yourself. It's not that you need.
No, I know, but I want to pretend it is.
You know what's more unique than Everest right now? Stardust Racers. I'm serious. It is. Less people have been on Stardust Racers than have climbed Everest.
It's true.
That's a fact. And it's more dangerous.
No, not more dangerous.
You could argue that Stardust Racers.
No,
you could argue.
Only one
same
death.
level.
Yeah.
Same level of danger. Same level.
But when you get up there and it's just a naked like mountain peak in your dream, you get up there, there's nothing there. Do you want to leave something? Do you want to leave like a little Tom and Dan flag or something?
Yes, I do. Of course I do. Because I have to leave it so all the other people can be like, oh, Tom was already
That's
here.
everybody.
No.
What would you leave?
I was Tom was here.
Okay, that's good. Carve it into a tree.
Yeah.
Drunky the bear suit on a mannequin.
That's pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
a vote, Dennis Van sign.
I also don't like the fact that once you're up there and then like the go-to move, and you see this a lot because there's a lot of videos of people, they get up there and their go-to move is to look around and be like, wow, highest place on earth, but it looks like the same as any other mountain. Like, there's
the highest place does not look like the highest place.
Yeah, there's not much of a difference. I've stood on top of a mountain and looked around and seen a bunch of mountains. It's about the same as Everest. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't really tell how high you are.
So what you're saying is, because you and I did this in Colorado.
Like whoa!
Like if I fall off of this,
I want all the other mountains to be way lower and be like, whoa, this is the craziest thing, but it's all the
perception doesn't work like that either.
You're just looking out as like a sea of other mountains. It's like,
but there are corpses and doo-doo everywhere.
Yeah, that's the only.
That'll
difference.
remind you. You're like, if I were up there, it would actually behoove you to get a photo with a corpse. Not a photo on the top of the mountain, right?
That's frowned upon, I think.
Is it?
Yeah, I think that's why a lot of the influencers don't even show. I think I read a story one time.
Is it like corpses everywhere, dude?
No, it's only they're not everywhere. They're like certain. They used to use them as certain like
guideposts.
Like a like hey,
there's like green shoes guy.
Yeah.
You go to a green shoes guy and you make a right.
Yeah. But apparently, I guess other influencers have climbed Everest, and it's like frowned upon to film the corpses because they
probably frowned upon to take that green guy's shoes off too.
In fact,
man, if you got those green shoes,
what you do is you bring them home and you have somebody like make them look better, and then you return them to him. That's an influencer video. You take off the guy that died on Everest has green shoes. You send you send the Nike guy up there because you've all seen the Nike guy that restores Nikes.
Oh, yeah.
He goes up there, he pulls off green shoes Nikes, the boots. He flies them home to L.A. because he's based out of like Long Beach or something.
Yep.
He redoes the boots. It's spray paint.
The video of cleaning them.
And he's like, phew, phew, phew. It's all super urban. He's making it look great. He paints them. He's like, yo, son, Yankees. And he finishes the shoes. Dodgers. I should have got Dodgers. And he flies them back to Everest, right? You got it, and you put them back on the guy. I'm telling you, that would be a $1 billion video. But I'm too tired to do these things. I'm just too tired to be. I would be the greatest influencer in the world. I'm just too tired.
And I guess there are, like, with mountaineering, there's harder, like, actual mountains to climb than Everest.
More technically difficult.
Are they more technically difficult?
Mm-hmm. It's just the tallest.
Yes, yeah. And I guess so it's one of those things where because it's not that hard, it lends itself to so many people that just throw money at it to be able to go up there, and now you're having these, Although, with all that said, if I had like a bunch of money or whatever, I think, and I was traveling the world and I wanted to see, I'd go to base camp.
You'd pop in.
I wouldn't train to climb it, but I would just go just to see.
Get a photo near the flag. Those flappers, those prayer flappers.
Just because, like, all around Nepal and that area is beautiful, and there's other things to do. Nepal. So it's like while you're there, you could just pop into base camp Everest.
That's so weird to me. That's like driving to Disney from Kansas or something, and then just stopping at the Wawa outside the gates and being like, "All right, we did it." Like that's so.
But I think that's what people do.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, just like because if you're already doing some excursions and traveling around Nepal, and then one of them's like, "Hey, one of the excursions will drive you up to the base camp one of Everest." Like,
I definitely do that.
And it's like $800.
Why would I go to the top? There's 3 for $10 Everest T-shirts right here.
Yeah. It's just you're just popping in to get a picture. You're like, "Hey, I'm at Everest. That's cool."
It's kind of what we do on cruise ships in Mexico now, right? We're like, I'm here. All right, I'll be back on the boat.
Yeah. Carlos and Charlie's is not really Cancun, Mexico. It's like
that base camp Senor Frogs is lit.
What's the tallest mountain in North America?
Is it Rainier?
Is it Rainier?
I don't know. I'm just guessing.
It may be Mount Rainier. I know that I was going to do.
What's the tallest hot mountain?
What,
like not covered in snow and ice?
Yeah. You never see that, right? You never see somebody like, we climb this mountain and they're all like in swimsuits and tank tops, like climbing a jungle mountain.
It's all cold once you get, like, even in Hawaii. That's what the most bizarre
Once you get up there, it's just science.
Yeah, I mean, it's 90 degrees at the bottom, and then you get up at the top is like 40 degrees.
Crazy.
And just you're like, whoa, like because like it's like flying in a plane.
Yeah,
like we're hot right now. You go up 20,000 feet, it's cold as hell up there, and it's like, give us that cold.
Tallest mountain in North America used to be named Mount McKinley, renamed Denali by the Obama administration and then renamed Mount McKinley by Trump.
Oh, yeah, we're in name fights right now. We are, right? We're in a big name fight right now. You know, we don't have the Secretary of Defense anymore. It's Secretary of War.
Yeah.
You see the war? We have a Department of War now.
I'm mad we got off the Gulf of America. That was so funny.
More fun. That was more fun.
I had a whole bit written. I never got to do it. About I was going to rename a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, we moved on. The churn, the great churn.
It went too fast.
Yeah.
I was like,
oh, it's rapid fast right now. Did you hear about Mark Sanchez? Did you hear about this guy? He beat up an old man.
Got stabbed.
Did you guys ever? I'm sorry, Dan. Did you ever read Into Thin Air? That book by Krakauer.
Yeah,
it's really Tom. So this guy named John Krakauer. He's written a bunch of stuff. I forget what his other famous books are, but he's written a bunch of stuff.
That's really the biggie.
But he wrote this one called Into Thin Air, which is about this one particular season on Everest where like everything went wrong.
Okay, yeah.
And like people,
I think there's a documentary about that too. Right?
I think I did a magazine.
Okay.
This is like an excerpt where they serialized it into like a small amount
in like Outside Magazine or something like that.
Yeah, this is famous.
But so everything went wrong. But like my favorite part was people get caught at the top. People are like swept off the mountain. Like literally this storm blew up that they didn't see coming and just ransacked the mountain. But there's a certain point where like people were descending and one guy just couldn't go. He was just like, I can't anymore. It's just too much. And so they were like, all right, see ya. And so everybody went down the mountain and left him up there to die, presumably. And so they get down to base camp, and like, I don't know, 6-8 hours later, he comes staggering into base camp like, I made it!
I remember talking about this.
So
yeah. It was crazy. And then he had real bad frostbite and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And he described like almost dying, and then he's like, dying from hypothermia is not an easy sleep.
No. It was excruciating.
Yeah. There's like, it's bad.
Yeah, the way he described it was like, you're on fire.
Yeah.
But I always imagine being like the people who left him, and then he comes in and they're like, oh, hey, Charlie.
We thought you got burned alive by ice.
Yeah. And I know he probably is like, hey, this is what you're supposed to do. We talked about this.
Not me. I'm an emotional person. I'll never forgive you. I'll never forgive you.
How could you?
I'll never forgive you.
For sure. No, we would go like, I'd take you out to eat and just leave you at a restaurant. I would just be,
Yeah, like you were like, I obviously made it down. How certain were you I was going to die? You couldn't have been that certain. I made it.
Why did you pump me up? All I needed was a pump up talk. And you gave me nothing. I came to you. I said, I can't go anymore. All you needed to come on, buddy. You can do it. That's all I needed. You said nothing. You said, bye.
Yeah. I just needed a little pump up. Yeah, slap my cheeks a little bit.
I do that with Maisie all the time.
Sure.
Sometimes she just literally needs like, oh, that's eat. Like sometimes with May, the key to her like being powerful is just dismissing it. She's like, oh, and I'm like, it's nothing. Mm-hmm. And I give her the it's nothing, and it works. Mm-hmm. It's like I dismiss it, so she dismisses it. I'm like, oh
no. I'll be like, what's wrong? Are you okay? Have some ice on your forehead. No.
You want to get out of here?
Yeah. No. All right, we will be right back.
It is a corporate time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
I'm Tom. We've got our Bad at Business Beer Fest coming up November 22nd, and then the Sofa and Suds Sanford Couch Races on the 23rd. Both free events. Come out. The Beer Fest, we got live music, got a DJ, tons of food trucks, tons of vendors out there.
The streets of Sanford are open. The beer is everywhere.
Yeah, a bunch of craft beers, local, really good breweries. We got THC seltzers, which is a craze now.
We've had home brewers in the past. You never know who's going to show up there. All of your old favorites, like Tom said, your THC seltzers. If you need to slow down a little bit, we got you covered.
We're going to have new Tom and Dan merch. Eric Merchman's going to be out there selling vent T-shirts, some new Tom and Dan T-shirts, and it's going to be a good time. It's a street party, so come on. I say get there around noon. Get that free gift bag, then walk around Sanford. Beer starts pouring at 2.
What's in the gift bags this year, gift bag, Gary?
Well, something from our sponsors, Just Call Mo.
Okay.
We've got Modern Plumbing. We've got Fairvilla Megastore.
Dildos.
We've got Jeff's Bagel Run.
Bagels.
We've got Power Spot Fireworks. We've got My Eternal Vitality.
Testosterone. Problems in the bedroom. See Dr. Power.
And much more.
Yeah, anyway. Lots of stuff out there.
So let's do a weird job today.
To get you guys ready for the shock and horror that will be Bad Bunny taking over the halftime of the Super Bowl, because everybody's just livid about it.
Not my halftime.
Yeah, nothing makes me.
We need an American citizen. That's what I say.
I love the people saying that we needed Kid Rock. I'm like, yeah, that's what we need.
I think he is an American citizen. Lots of non-American citizens have performed.
Yeah, here's the thing about.
But it doesn't seem like it.
Here's the thing about
because he don't speak English.
Kid Rock's got the skinniest ponytails of all the ponytails. His ponytails are too skinny, or his braids. To get you ready for.
I want Bob Seger.
Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band. I believe he took himself off the road. This is a true story. Bob Seger took himself off the road this year because, quote, it's too hot for him and his fans. So he took himself off the road.
Ozzy Osbourne's fat son.
He doesn't play any music.
Okay.
Jack Osbourne is a kind boy who suffers from some sort of disorder. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, getting you ready for Bad Bunny. I did something sort of in the style of what I think Bad Bunny would do if he got a hold of the Tom and Dan Weird Job Wednesday theme song.
Wanted to do a bit, he caught it. Ooh. Weird Job Wednesday. Dad really likes it. Tom says that's bullshit. It's another.
Ooh. Watch your mouth, buddy.
Weird Job Wednesday. What are you doing? What is your job? Are you neat? Are you tidy? Are you a fat slob? Do you make lots of money and you sit up in your tower looking down on all the people who are working by the hour? It's a Weird Job Wednesday.
Can you see me with my straw hat on spinning to this? I love his straw hat. I watched him live from Puerto Rico. I enjoyed it.
Oh, yes, it's Weird Job Wednesday. Just another Weird Job Wednesday.
Gracias.
Thank you, Tom.
I should have changed that to gracias.
Thank you.
You know, to defend the internet, it does not seem like Puerto Rico is part of the United States. Like at first glance.
But if you go to Miami, you feel like you are.
Well, no.
If you go to Miami, you look around, you're like, I could be in Puerto Rico right now.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, Miami doesn't feel like it's part of the United States, even more than Puerto Rico.
That's what I'm saying.
Anyway, so with us today, a fellow podcaster.
Yes. Who isn't at this point, right?
From the Who's the Baddie podcast. Hey. Tyler's here. How you doing, Tyler?
I'm doing great. What's up, guys? It's so good to see you.
Good to see you, man.
So speaking of Who's the Baddie.
He's the best looking baddie. Can I just say it?
Yes, I am.
You're the most attractive. I've been dying to get you on the couch.
And Matt.
Yeah, well, Crespo's doing as much as he can.
Yeah.
And Matt is just now, I'm just going to say it. And if this is shots fired, I apologize. But now he's just a broken dad. Right? He's just a tired dad all the time. Every time I talk to him, every text is like, I'm so tired. Oh, I'm so tired.
Yeah, we're light on. We don't have a hair and makeup department, and I will say that I also don't have kids, so I think that goes a long way.
The kid will get you.
Yeah,
write that down. Kids will get you. They make you tired.
Yeah.
Especially if they're spicy and fast. Oh my God! No wonder he's tired. He's running around crazy. He's got a little active baby running around.
So, speaking of Who's the Baddie, Daniel's episode is dropping tonight.
Yeah.
If you listen to this on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And your episode was on what now? Which movie?
The movie that we did is a movie that I hadn't revisited in a very long time, but it is the masterpiece, The Mighty Ducks.
Masterpiece indeed.
Yeah, and I forgot how much I really enjoyed that movie. And also, to lean in for you guys to download the podcast, and I would urge that everybody like and subscribe Who's the Baddie podcast. That movie is so inappropriate, it's awesome. So go watch it, and then listen to the podcast, and just have a lot of fun with us, because that is a darn fine movie.
You brought up the fact that little-known fact that Jussie Smollett
Jussie Smollett is in that movie.
That's one of the many things that will stand out and hit your brain like, holy crap, no way.
There's so many little things in that movie, that, and we go, and trust me when I say, we walk through every little detail of that movie. Crespo lays some knowledge on you that will make you scream and delight. Some of that's already been revealed on social media, but if you haven't listened to Who's the Baddie, featuring me, their whole crew, and the movie movie, The Mighty Ducks, please go like and subscribe.
You know, it's another one real quick. Just sorry, this happens sometimes when I watch these movies to prep. Is that it'll autoplay the next movie, and Mighty Ducks 2 played right after the first one, and so I caught the first 10, 15 minutes of it. But Benny the Jet Rodriguez from The Sandlot is in that movie, and I had completely forgotten that too. So it's
they
like
brought over
things,
some of the other famous sports kids to play in other famous sports kids movies.
Revisit something after so many years, it's like holy crap! It's not what you remember.
Yeah. Also,
they were way too nice to Benny the Jet in the 50s for my tastes of accuracy. I'm like some parent of the other Sandlotters would have called Benny the Jet the S
Benicio.
word.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
It was the 1950s.
Yeah.
Call him Benny all you want. We know Benicio.
He wouldn't have been playing, I'll tell you that. He wouldn't have been playing. He'd been locked up in the basement of one of those houses.
Not in Iowa, anyway.
So, Tyler,
yes.
I actually do not know your job.
Yeah, sure.
I know that our friend Matt from Who's the Baddie?
The Tired Dad.
Suggested that you come on today and talk about your weird job, and I was like, no problem. And then we scheduled it weeks ago, and now, literally 5 minutes before you came in, I text Matt. I'm like, what does Tyler do? I have no idea.
Who the guy?
There's a bit of the jet coming. What is your job? What is your job?
Yeah, I run into that a lot. I don't. It's unusual. I would say that it's weird too, but really more than anything, it's unusual. I am a clinical rater. If you Googled that, you might come up with a few different labels or titles for it. Sometimes, I think that it's an older term now, but it once upon a time was called like a psychometrician or a psychometric rater.
A geriatric rater would be Pete Carroll.
I'll be that.
That's pretty good. I think that's a solid. I've been working on a Pete Carroll joke all week. He's so old.
Cooking up Pete Carroll material.
I'm trying to cook up my Pete Carroll.
Yeah. Well, that'll be me at some point whenever a geriatric hits. But so I tell people I'm a clinical rater and that I work in clinical research, and I work very specifically on psychiatric trials. So I work on clinical drug trials, but I work exclusively on trials that are testing new and sometimes existing meds, drugs, or therapies for psychiatric diagnoses, things like ADHD, depression, bipolar disorder, things like that.
Okay, well, let's
Can you get my Adderall? I'm sorry, that wasn't me.
I need it real bad, Tyler. You don't understand.
Yeah, I mean,
I got fat. I can't think of nothing.
He's spilling out of his pockets right now. Look at the floor. There's dust. There's Adderall dust.
Chop these up real quick. I mean, you're not wrong, though, because like that ADHD meds tend to suffer from shortages, so it really does turn into that sometimes.
Because we abuse them, that's why.
Yeah, because the goddamn crackies got into the system, and they'll do anything.
It's like Pain Pill Light to them.
And they love filling out all the necessary paperwork and all the stuff I don't want to do.
Crackies are organized.
Because they need it. They need the
you got to be organized for crack.
So, back to just the definition of raider. Why is it called a raider? I thought raider was a pirate.
Yeah, a raider. Yeah. This is raider, R-A-T-E-R. That's a great question.
Clinical buccaneer.
Yeah, clinical buccaneer. A swashbuckling clinical buccaneer.
Yeah.
So in just
the chat room wants to quote you on the "I got fat and I can't think nothing." Is that the accurate? That was the accurate quote. You're gonna put this on your tombstone when you die.
We got something for that. We got something for that. Yeah, like bird's eye view, clinical drug trials or clinical research in general is just really the process or the series of processes by which new meds get developed, tested, proven to be effective, and then eventually released. So, often for a lot of things, if you are making a med for blood pressure or body weight or something like that, you can measure that very directly. You can measure blood pressure. You can measure body weight. You can measure all kinds of things that have tangible physical properties. Things like depression or ADHD symptoms or schizophrenia are not directly measurable. There's no physical properties to those things. So you have to come up with some way of measuring.
I've never thought of that. Yeah.
Has this med made a difference or not? Is there any difference in rates of responding or in, symptom profile? And so, since those things are not innately measurable, you have to come up with ways of measuring them. So, almost always is the case is that there is some assessment tool, some diagnostic tool that really just boils down to a bunch of different questions to help build an impression, build a profile of someone's disorder, someone's diagnosis. And then through repeated exposure to those questions, you ask those questions over time and see if things change or if they stay the same.
So you're like quantifying things that are unquantifiable.
Yes, that's exactly, if you get into a psych class, they'll call it a hypothetical construct.
I like this.
You don't even really have to worry about the technical vocabulary.
But if you don't build it out, then it doesn't exist.
True. I mean, there is some truth to that. It's one of those things like, listen, depression, anything that's not directly measurable, sadness, happiness, jealousy, you can't measure jealousy. You can't hold it in your hand. You can't point at it. That doesn't mean it's not
Travis
real.
Kelce can hold jealousy in his hand.
Yeah, he sure can.
According to the song Wood.
Yeah.
So you bring up a good point about being able to measure whether a crazy pill is working or not, right? And I call them crazy pills just because it's disrespectful.
I'm on him.
No, it's all good.
He likes to do that.
A healthy sense of humor is important.
Yeah, that's the same reason I call his Adderall I call him a fast gay. He takes his fast gay pills. Makes him gay and fast.
I just like taking saying whatever the thing is treating in the pill, like fat pill, crazy pill, big pill, small pill, whatever.
Yeah.
And so when you're like
weenie pill,
when someone's going crazy like a cartoon, like woo, bouncing, and then all of a sudden he's standing there after. You're like, okay, well, he was crazy, and then now he's just standing there, not crazy anymore, right? It's working.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. He still could be crazy.
Well, is he crying one tear? Then he's just frozen and crazy.
Yeah, maybe he's just acting normal, and he's still crazy up in his head. How can we know? We can't
Somebody
tell.
in the chat room said our president called Ozempic, quote, the fat shot.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
I like that. I do too. That's hilarious.
I've always liked stores that are called just the thing that they do, like nails.
Or Dan's Fan City.
Dan's Fan City. Well, that's a little fancy for my days. It could have just been Dan's Fan. That's fine. Is it an actual city of fans? I don't know about that. And who's the mayor of the city?
It's kind of
what kind of city is this? Is this a liberal city?
Yeah.
Do I need to put, do we need to put the National Guard in there to control these fans?
Store is not even that big. It's like,
it's tiny. How many fans do you have in there? Burn it down.
You make a good point, though, because not everything that is not directly measurable is overt. Like you're talking about an excess of behavior bouncing off the walls. Now, that's visible. We don't need fancy questions to observe that and measure that. But the opposite, maybe things that are going on internally. I mean, how do you measure negative self-talk? Or how do you measure feeling sad or bad or guilty or worthless? And that's all hidden. Like, that doesn't show itself. You can measure crying and you can measure how a face looks to you. But that's not really measuring what you're trying to get. So there's like you just said, there's two sides of it too. The things that happen inside the mind or inside the body are even another step away from being able to be captured. At least in a meaningful way.
So how do you start? So when you're starting one of these, what's the definitive starting, or is there a definitive starting point for something like this?
It really depends on the indication. We use the word indication. You can use the word diagnosis, whatever the condition is. It really depends on that. If you're I do a ton of ADHD work, a lot of ADHD studies. So with something like that, you just get into it. I always start my conversations if I'm talking to a parent about a kid, tell me what brings you here. When did you first think of ADHD? When did that?
How long's he been not normal?
Right, yeah, things like that. Tell me what it's like. And then we start to go from there, and then you start introducing more formal assessment methods like actual, standardized questionnaires. But to answer your question in a broader sense, how do you start? Well, you look at what it looks like when it's, in its natural form. What does ADHD look like? And so you build your questions around there. I see this person really can't sit still. And you notice that more and more in ADHD population. Well, that must be a feature. So how do we probe for that? How do we ask about that? But we
should
ask.
Back in the old days, you duct tape them to the chair.
Exactly right. That's exactly right.
You stay there until you're,
Oh, yeah.
So
not got the demon in you.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, do you do any testing on humans? Is there clinical trials involved?
Do you cut any women's bras off like a EMT?
How does that work with the clinical trials?
Yeah, so I work, that's another great question. So I work
Hold on, I got to give him the camera. When anybody says great question, he gets the camera. Couple seconds and then he has to smile and I got it.
Yeah, no, it is though. There are so many phases to clinical research, clinical drug trials. Most of them take place before a drug or a medicine or a chemical is ever put inside a body. The first time a med is put inside a human body, we call that phase 1, first in human trials. And phase 1 and 2 really are all about determining safety and tolerability of the med inside of a body. So can they take this? Is it safe? How much can they take? How long does it last in the body? How does the body process it and pass it through? I don't work in those two phases. They're extremely important, obviously. I work in phase 3, and phase 3 is, we call them efficacy trials, which means that you're now testing, does the medicine do what it's meant to do? Does it do what we want it to do, what we're saying it does? We've already demonstrated clinically that it's safe and tolerable. We can put it in a body. There may be side effects, and that's how side effects get discovered or learned about, of course. But we've determined it's safe for a body, so now we're putting it in, and let's see if it actually works at what it's meant to do. So if you're applying that to a schizophrenia subject or a depression subject, then what happens next is obviously different. But how do we get people into that point? Well, through recruitment, either through, sharing information, or maybe even a treatment provider recommends, hey, there is some clinical drug trials happening in town or in this site somewhere. It might be worth your while to go explore that. And then from that point, it's even more complicated. Like, you have to go through eligibility. You have to determine eligibility. Is this a good fit for you? Is this trial a good fit for you? Are you a good fit for it? It can be there's a lot of hoops you have to jump through before you're in a trial. But it usually starts with someone seeing an ad, maybe on Facebook, maybe a billboard, maybe on the radio, and they think, oh, that sounds like me, or that sounds like my kid. Maybe I should call and just see what it's like. And that's how
I did this a few years ago for uterine mesh, and I was a good candidate.
Yeah.
I was an excellent candidate, but I had all of my lady parts removed.
Yeah. Where's the mesh?
You don't want to know where mine was? Mine got tangled.
How'd you get it in there?
Yeah, you don't
I know
want to
where
know.
it should be.
Yeah.
Where's mine?
Mine got,
Why are you putting mesh in there?
Get that mesh out of there. Stop mashing on my... Oh, you're mashing my mesh.
You mash.
The meshy mesh. It's a mesh to mesh. You came to the dumbest show.
I love it. I love it
You're on the
so
dumbest
much.
show.
You know what? I was going to mention
It's
that.
October. I'm allowed to say meshy mesh.
It's Monster Mash season. Monster Mesh.
I was gonna,
Blah, blah.
not to totally tangent, but recently we got a review on our new Love Thy Neighbor show
what'd they
by a
say?
professional.
What'd they say about me?
No, where they said, it's a hit. But they did say that it's like the two grown men on that show are like teen boys.
Yeah, I saw that. They're like, the two men on the show are like listening to two stunted teen personalities that have been frozen in
I'm
teendom.
like, are you calling me an R word? I think you are.
Yeah, you're saying I need to be in a clinical trial. Or do I need to be in a clinical trial?
So, okay, back to clinical
I
trials.
couldn't love it more. I think when I see people who deny the fact that they're still just a little kid on the inside, like, that's who I feel bad for.
You
know what I mean?
Have you guys looked outside? Let's make some jokes.
I was
Exactly.
what adult dudes have you seen that have some sort of super mature, like, I don't know any
honestly,
of them. Yeah, but do you know any, who's the most mature adult?
All of the dance dads are mature.
No, that's a lie.
No, they are.
They're pretending to be.
Well, they're pretending very well because I'm the coolest dad because I still make fart jokes and stuff. I am. The girls, they love me, and all the other dads, they all dress nice, they like Maseratis and stuff. I am not that dad.
I know who I'd rather hang out with.
Me, I'm cool.
100%.
Well, I'm not cool, but I am more fun. I'll give myself fun. I am more fun.
It has nothing to do with money.
I'm the poorest dad. I'm the poorest dance dad.
Like, I guess.
Guaranteed. Some of these guys got amazing vehicles.
Yeah. Like, I guess it maybe is your position in life. Like, if you were a judge or something. Like,
oh, that's a
I
good
know
one.
lots of immature lawyers.
But all the judges I knew had a really, really dark sense of humor.
Yeah.
And I've only known two. You have one in your family, do you not?
Yeah. He's
Is he
pretty
cool?
mature. Yeah. He's cool, but he also used to like hang out with my dad and fish and
Who's
stuff.
more mature of you and I?
Oh, definitely me.
I think I'd probably give him that one. Yeah.
This is so exciting for me too, by the way, because I've only ever seen you guys individually. So this is like mind blowing.
No one ever sees us together. For a while, people thought we were the same person.
Yeah. I'm gonna shoot my cheek out like Tyler Durden.
And I'm
And then I'm like, I just blew my cheek off.
And they're like, "Where's the soap?" And I'm like, I can't make it. I don't know how to make it.
Back to clinical trials.
Yeah.
It seems like anybody involved in a clinical trial has fallen on hard times, right?
No, Andrea did one.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
My wife does a lot of these sometimes.
The nerds of the world.
The nerds feel like they are helping, and I believe she did a COVID one.
Yeah.
She's not a true blood American like I am. She's more, she's drinking the Kool-Aid. And I'm more of a true American. And she did a COVID trial, and I think they gave her the placebo.
Yeah, it happens 50-50 chance.
Yeah. I think she was just going there, and they were just stabbing her for money.
Yeah.
It's
the money part that usually
she was getting paid.
Right.
She was getting paid pretty decent.
Of course, absolutely.
Like my friends in college, and we're always talking about clinical trials, and you can get paid, and you just stay at. Some of them you have to be in a hotel for a week, and
that's the Ashley Madison clinical trial,
right? So those are phase 1 trials. Those are the ones where you stay. You don't come and go.
Can you get me and Tom on this, because we need money for this company, and we can do clinical trials.
Those. By the way, everything that was just said is true to some form or another. Like the low economic status is true for the vast majority of clinical research participants, especially phase 1 trials, which is safety and tolerability. Just think about it this way. It's not like it's that risky necessarily. I don't want to make it sound like it's really dangerous. But at the end of the day, you are being asked to put an experimental medication, an untested med, inside your body in exchange for money. Who's saying yes to that? Well, people who need the money, really. You're not getting a whole lot of...
all you suckers that did it after Operation Fast Track.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just it felt like screaming that fit my beard.
If Operation Fast Track is your way of referencing how fast we moved through COVID, then that is interesting to talk about. Because as someone who works in the industry, it can be extremely slow moving sometimes. And it's frustrating. You're like, we could do this a whole lot faster. So that when COVID actually does happen very rapidly like it did, you're like, see, I freaking told you. If we cut out all this BS, we could actually get through these things quicker.
And listen, I'm fine. If it works on one monkey, I'll take it.
Yeah. How's he doing? Does his hair fall out? All of it? Or just a little bit?
Yeah, talk to me.
How much?
I'll take anything.
Let me see his butt. Let me see his butt. Let me see his genitals. All right, I'll do it.
But you're right, too. A lot of times there are just, like you say, the nerds who just want to feel like they're doing something important, and they're not.
I don't know why my wife did that. We don't really talk that much, so I have to ask her.
But they're not wrong. It is so important, and I do remind people like that. I'm like, this is extremely legit, and it's very, very helpful and extremely important.
She got some Christmas money.
So we do get a lot of people like that.
I think over the course of it, I want to say that she did 7 weeks of going or whatever.
Probably, yeah.
And at the end of it, I think I told you this. I want to say she got $1,300.
Yeah.
It wasn't a tiny amount of money. It was we can buy something significant with $1,300.
Yeah.
And she got nothing. It was literally just a fake needle, or it was a real needle, but nothing in it, I guess.
So let me ask you about some urban legends about medications.
Yeah.
Because we're all used to, we live in the United States. Pharmaceutical companies can advertise medications on TV. And we all have laughed for years at watching some sort of medication commercial, and then at the end they list a huge list of possible side effects, right? A lot of the times diarrhea is one of them, which makes me laugh every time.
Sudden diarrhea.
Yeah. And then, so over the time of hearing this, I've heard an urban legend. I want to verify if this is true. People have told me, they're like, oh yeah, all those lists that they have to do, they have to legally put any side effect that anybody reports at all, even if it's a normal, guess what? A lot of people have diarrhea. I would just randomly.
If you're taking Skyrizi, your teeth may have diarrhea.
And then, or headaches, or normal everyday problems. But if you had that while you're in the clinical trial, they have to legally list it, even though it's
Wait, just one person? Shouldn't it be 5 people got diarrhea?
Well, that's the urban legend I heard. They were like, oh yeah, if one person in the clinical trial had a headache that day.
Gary had diarrhea. Gary always has diarrhea.
Going back to COVID, it's like if you died in a motorcycle accident and you had COVID, they're going to list COVID as the cause of death.
Correct.
And then everybody's like, oh yeah, inflated the number. Listen, I also believe any hobo will tell.
Yeah, what would you say to that?
I would say up until the motorcycle thing, that is true. Yeah, I mean, that almost anything that pops up, they're called adverse events in our world, and all adverse events are reportable and need to be documented and then need to be communicated. You think about it this way, it's like they are over communicating the risk as a proactive defense of if something bad happens. So it's in their interest, the main companies, the people who are marketing these drugs and producing these drugs and ultimately putting these drugs into the world to acknowledge the risks, and it's in their best interest to over-acknowledge the risks. So, yeah, there's a lot of truth in what you just said, that even things that are extremely rare do get reported as side effects. The other thing that's worth pointing out is that I think there is maybe a belief that in clinical drug trials that tens of thousands of people are participating in these trials. It's not usually that high. So it might be 400 people, 500 people, 700
Oh, it's like radio
people.
ratings. You think it's 10,000, but it's really like 6 people.
Yeah, but one represents.
Yeah. I'm
8,000.
sorry, I'm on my caffeine today.
Yeah. No, so I'm high a little bit. But, I mean, it's everything that happens that's unexpected or that's adverse, even very mild things, maybe a mild rash or maybe something that's completely unrelated.
I have a lot of rashes.
I have.
And they have to still report that. So that is technically, I thought it was an urban legend, but it's actually true.
Yeah, and so...
But it'll make the commercial?
Absolutely make the commercial, and it makes you ask yourself, what do I want to do with this information? They're listing all these side effects. Do I need to take that all seriously? Or do I think, well, that might have just been one person out of 700. I don't really have to worry about it. You kind of caught
what makes me as one
you had
of
a mountain melt from Ale House.
Exactly.
Of course you had diarrhea.
Exactly.
No,
did you have a Western bacon burger? I mean, that might explain the GI issues.
It's a Hardee's Monster Thick Burgers. Those are the best ones.
You know what I'm saying?
Early 2000. You know what it makes me think? Look at the bigger picture here. If you and I get in a clinical trial, we have to think of something so unique that if we say it, it'll make the commercial, and then we'll know when we see the commercial, we're like, we did it. So seriously, it's like a troll. So when you see like Sky Rizzy has like anal bleeding, they're like one guy. He didn't have that. No, he didn't have that, but he put that in there so when he heard it, that's me. I'm Gary.
So another thing that I often laugh at the end of like pharmaceutical commercials is that they'll say like, if you are allergic to Sky Rizzy, do not take Sky Rizzy.
It's hilarious.
And then you're like, well, how would I know Rizzy? If I've never taken it, then I don't know if I'm allergic to it. So your warning, don't take it if you're allergic to it, seems foolish.
It's by far my favorite thing.
All right, so why do they do that?
I have no idea. It is so stupid. I think that is like we just said. It's
a
like
legal thing.
Yes, it's just the epitome of cover your ass. You know what I mean? Like just prevent things before. I don't know, but that one is so dumb. It makes me laugh every time. It's even more ridiculous. Like if you're allergic to this, then you know you're allergic to it. Do you need to be told? Don't take something you're allergic to?
Well, the TV told me to.
It's just unbelievable.
I would rather them say, like, if you're allergic to Sky Rizzy, keep taking it, but consult your doctor.
You never know.
It's like,
One more time.
I'll gamble it a little bit. Let's talk about, we just touched on it, Tom touched on it, Sky Rizzy. Names. There are a lot of dumb names, and then they go and they spend a lot of money to take said name and then license a very popular song and then fit the name into it. You know, like, is that a big? Is any of that play in what you're doing?
Not at all. Thank God.
So that's
although I would
marketing.
love to know.
So marketing
Absolutely.
takes over after you're done.
Yes, what we get are the actual names of the pharmaceutical,
there
and it's not always a drug or a chemical. It almost always is, but we get like the real name. We get the chemical name, and it's obnoxious at times because it is like a ridiculous name sometimes. But that's never how they're released, and I think you're right. I think that they just these big pharma companies, the big sponsors are worth more money than God, more than you can imagine. So they spend so much money in their market research, and they get some fancy, stupid firm to come up with, this is the name I think that would work the best or whatever. So how that all goes down, I have no idea. It's totally separate from what we do.
So why is it like we always hear this football player had to go to Germany for this treatment, or like this has been going on for years, where you go out of the country because we've always heard that like, oh, there's looser regulations in Europe or whatever, South America.
But not on food. They don't put certain chemicals in food, so why would their drugs be worse for me? I'm just using common sense, right?
No,
if they're taking the dyes out of the food that we put in that kills us, but I'm going over there to get medical care, that makes me think their medical care is better.
Well, in the United States, it's harder to get in, harder to get out.
It's like the mafia.
Yeah.
I think the reality is there's not a whole lot of common sense in the answer to this question.
Can't make sense of nonsense.
So do we have just stricter regulations to be able to even get a drug on the market?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that's as simple as you can put it, is that we are more highly regulated than anywhere else in the world as far as I know, and it is an extremely highly regulated regulated industry.
And is that regulation due to public safety or due to drug companies wanting less
All the
competition?
Yeah, that's exactly where I was driving.
If I was the czar of podcasting, I would make it real hard to get new podcasts out there.
Yeah.
Because my
Also-
podcast would be more popular with less competition.
Also, if you were the czar of podcasting, I'd appreciate if you wouldn't dress like Hitler. My God.
Well, that's what I thought a czar was.
He dressed like a full czar. I'm like, that's way inappropriate. You cannot wear that czar of podcasting. Just wear a suit. You don't need a black outfit with a tiny hat and kill the mustache, man.
I mean,
Jeez Louise.
Absolutely.
You look like Mussolini.
Well, how does a czar dress?
I don't know.
It's what's in the
It's
closet.
either that or magician. That's all I have.
I just need to wear white gloves no matter what.
So is it because of public safety or because they want
Well,
less competition out there for drugs?
It would be both. Let's take the first one, though. It's obviously in their interest. If you are manufacturing medicine, drugs that go into the human body, it is very much in your best interest, whether it's altruistic or not, for that to be a good, effective, safe med. If it's not, how are you ever going to sell it? How are you ever going to be profitable if the thing you make doesn't work? So public safety is definitely the overarching factor here. But the other thing definitely exists, too. It is worth noting that not all sponsor companies, not all pharmaceutical developers are the big boys. Like Eli Lilly, Moderna, Pfizer, they're enormous. They have more money than you can imagine. They have a lot of clout, a lot of power. They lobby their asses off to control the industry the way they want to.
Eli Lilly sounds like he would have known Orville Redenbacher, right? And they would have had like competing general stores. That's what it does sound like.
I'm Eli Lilly.
Perfect. See? That's
I
perfect.
mean-
You could go for that. Who are you for Halloween? I'm Eli Lilly.
You know Bayer. Bayer makes aspirin. Bayer is a German company. Bayer was very involved on the
Bayer.
bad side of World War II. You can look this up. It's
Yeah.
not hard to find. It is what it is.
They
Their
were.
name never changed.
Ein Aspirin for your headache. Ich habe eine Kopfschmerzen.
It is what it
Ich habe
is.
Kopfschmerzen.
Exactly. Couldn't have said
That means
better
I have a
myself.
headache in German. It really does.
yeah. I'm
Racist
feeling better.
and autistic. I knew it.
But yeah, it would be silly to deny that those enormous companies do throw their weight around to bend the industry to what they want to accomplish and how it comes out. But like I said, not every sponsor is like that. Not every sponsor does have that clout. So, which is, I think, to bring it a little bit back to the coolness of the kind of studies I work on in the psych space, we see a lot more of the smaller ones because we are starting to, the industry as a whole is starting to dip its toe into alternative therapies. So I get to
Is
work
cannabis considered an alternative therapy?
very much so.
Where does that rate, or is it frowned upon where you're at, or is it like, look, we're just going to test all of it. We still have our job to
Whatever
do.
the opposite of frowned upon is.
Gotcha.
Like this industry, we are people that work in this industry I think care a lot, especially in the psych space, care a lot about solving these things and working towards better outcomes. And the pill era, the pharmacological intervention era that we are all a product of
Right.
is not perfect. It's far from it. And there is a lot that could be better, that could be improved. Now, the pharma companies obviously want to do that too.
Sure.
But alternative therapies are clawing more and more of that space back in at the site level and at any level, really. We're all for it. And cannabis, yes, absolutely is. One of the coolest studies I've ever worked on was a social anxiety study. And we call it the IP, the investigational product, or the drug in that case, was a mega dose of CBD. Now, when you get CBD out in the stores around here at like a farmer's market or whatever, you might get 40 milligrams, 50 milligrams. This was 2 500 milligram sublingual doses.
Good
so
God.
right into the mouth twice a day. So it's 1,000 milligrams. So it's a gram of
Yeah.
CBD every day for social anxiety. And I'm always blinded. I don't know if someone's on placebo or not, obviously, to do my job well. But sometimes you can really tell. And
Right.
this was a study where you could really tell who was on placebo and who wasn't. So yeah, we're
Give someone 1,000 milligrams.
Exactly.
You're like,
Yeah.
that guy's chill. He's going to eat on it. That guy took the water. I know. I can do this all day.
Exactly. It's so funny, too, because they're always trying to guess. So, like, I hear this all the time. I'm pretty sure I'm on the placebo. I'm like, okay. You know what I mean? We still got to do your
Have
thing.
you?
Also, anytime they list any sort of like legit medical benefits that cannabis offers, I always say, yeah, right. I don't believe it.
Well, we do too. Because a lot of the things that they say say cannabis is treating things. Let's just stick to one of them, like anxiety. Sure, I think for some people, when you're stoned, maybe your anxiety takes on a different form. However, cannabis
accelerates.
Mine takes on the form of Gilbert Godfrey trapped in a bank vault,
so when
screaming for help.
Yeah. So when someone says, "Oh, it's for my anxiety," I'm like, you don't say anything, but I'm like, no, it's not.
Yeah. I stopped saying that, just so you know. I don't say that anymore. People are like, why do you have medical marijuana? I was like, because it's the only way to get high legally.
Yeah. Right. I feel like a guy trapped in a tugboat in water.
Yeah, how's that anxiety treating you?
This doesn't help anything.
Have you ever been doing a trial where you're testing a drug and you have the specific compound name, the real chemical name, and you realize in doing it that, well, this is not working at all? Have there ever been any that do an about face pretty quickly because maybe it just wasn't?
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say, because that's probably what makes your job interesting is that it's all over the place different, because I can't even put a number on how many different chemicals might be used, because sometimes you find these things by accident, right?
Yes. Oh, yes, very much so. Yeah, so many great breakthrough discoveries were completely unintentional.
Just like they're using it for something else, and that you look, because I'm on something now that was never, I'm on something just to calm my stomach, but it's a pill that it's a benign, she described it as a benign medication, meaning it doesn't do anything to my bloodstream, but it will coat my stomach somehow, and it was never intended to use that.
Right.
But they found out that it works great for this, and they're like, here, we're going to put you on, it's no big deal.
Definitely.
And I'm like, okay.
Yeah. So we refer to that as off-label use, and so what that means is that you're using it for some indication that's not on the label, which you shouldn't be doing in life. However, in trials, the manufacturer or the maker of this med would want to add that to the label. So if you're going to add a new thing to your label, you got to go through it all again and see if it does what you're supposed to do. But that happens a lot, where you discover this thing that's made, I'm just making stuff up right now, so don't quote me, but this med that's for blood pressure medication, actually we can use a real one. Viagra was a blood pressure medication. Viagra was an accidental discovery. I have this raging boner. Well, that's an adverse event. That's a side effect. Well, maybe it's not a side effect. Maybe we want to make that.
I'll pay for that.
Yeah, exactly.
I wonder though if they did say that, if they're earlier on, if there had been a commercial, or if you were reading it, would be
I wonder
if you're taking, and maybe it had a different name, like if you're taking XJ5 180, you may get a priapism, or you may get an erection that you did not expect, and an unpredictable erection.
Well, back to is it for the good of the world, or is it to make a profit question? It's definitely both. But it would take a fool to not see the writing on the wall in that scenario. If you have a bunch of contrived erections in the male population of your experimental med or whatever, I think that's a good place to pivot.
That guy was probably drew a dollar sign on his yellow label.
Exactly.
He's like, wait a minute. Oh my God, I'm rich.
But imagine how much that must have felt. Because you're trying to have these blood pressure, these big fat blood pressure turns, and you're like, well, I can't do nothing for them because they're going to eat, they're going to drink, they're smoking their cigarettes, and they're addicted. But you know what else they're addicted to? Boner.
I'll sell that.
Rich.
Can't get enough of them.
Oh, man.
I like it when a medication meant to treat, let's say, restless legs causes gambling addiction. which I'm like, what the hell?
the really weird ones, yeah.
Where it's like...
It attacks some part of your brain.
and then you find out, you're like, oh, this must be one of those things where one person reported it, and you're like, no. This is actually...
It's the gambling drug.
Lots of people have experienced impulse control while taking this drug, and I'm like, that is bizarre to me, because all of a sudden you're like, all right, well now it's essentially messing with your personality, or
well, I would say it's just opening and closing gates that shouldn't be opening and closing, and if your personality lends yourself to that, you're going to go running for the casino, baby. Or cheating on your wife, or drugs, or whatever it is, and it does open and close those gates too easy.
And that's harder to understand individually, other than a rash or diarrhea. You're like, I know what that is, but why am I all of a sudden feel like I need to gamble?
Yeah,
that's bizarre.
Or I want to abandon my family.
The brain is a very mysterious thing, and we don't know anything about it. I mean, we know a whole lot, but really we don't know anything about it. And so things like that, I think those are both good analogies. You just never know what the effects are going to be, or what part of your personality that doesn't exist yet, or that's dormant might come alive, or anything like that.
So what is the process after, it goes through a clinical trial, and then, no one died, there wasn't that much adverse effects for it to get denied, and I guess, let's go there. What things could happen to get the drug denied from going to public? Like, how is it like a checklist of how many serious side effects, or what is it would cause a drug to be denied to be released to the public?
I can't prove this, but I would strongly suspect that the side effects are push-throughable, that you would push through that kind of stuff to get your drug to market if it works. So the answer is it just not working. Like one of you said a moment ago, do you ever get to this point where it's like obvious this thing ain't going? It's not going to go. It's just not working. And yes, I've worked on a couple trials in the last couple of years or so where it's even blinded like I am, it becomes abundantly clear this thing is not doing what it's meant to do. I worked on one study that was an ADHD med again, and their ADHD meds have been pretty well figured out. I think the game now with ADHD meds is how can we get them to work for a longer period of time with less side effects including things like I just don't feel like myself, or I feel like a zombie, those kinds of things. And so there are new ADHD meds, attempts at new ADHD meds, and we worked on one of them, and it didn't do anything. And the writing on...
Can you get me and Tom some of that?
And the writing is on the wall.
I'll be the
at some point, and that is really what will bring a drug down, is it just doesn't work.
Like internally at your job, like how much like lock and key or some of these drugs in, as far as like,
I bet it's tight.
Making sure, because you're handing them out to a bunch of people. Do you have to do the old like insane asylum? Make sure that they open.
Let me see your mouth. You got to use the flashlight on your cell phone.
Yeah. So they're not smuggling. Like how much security is all involved?
A lot, as much as you would imagine, and probably more. Now it depends on the drug, really. Like in phase 1 trials, I used to work on phase 1 trials, and that really is the. Dude, you would love it. It's the craziest thing ever. It's like, it would be an insane reality show to like make a reality show out of phase 1 trials, because you stay there. It's like a Twilight Zone motel.
Hosted by Faison Love.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Phase 1 by Faison.
Yeah, Faison's phase 1 on VH1. Oh,
see, now we're cooking, because I would watch that. I would watch that.
Phase 1.
Phase 1. It's phase 1 with Faison Love on VH1.
Hosted by Phase 1. Yeah, so that happens a lot in the phase 1 scenario where you are checking tongues and stuff like that, like make sure you took the med or whatever. In phase 3, people are not staying in a clinic, so they come and go, and they go home, and so you send them with med. Now, there's still accountability, a lot of accountability, and you do med checks every time they come back, and if there's any like reasonable suspicion that there's misuse or abuse, including giving things out, then, they're out of study, and you follow the rules after that, but it ends for them. But as far as lock and key goes, it depends on the drug, and at my site, since we do alternative therapies like cannabis products and psychedelics, like psilocybin and MDMA type drugs, those things are extremely highly regulated, and before not every site can do that. We have demonstrated success and high quality running of trials at our site, so we are considered a good site for psych trials. But initially, before we'd ever done one, like the accountability checks and feasibility and accountability checks are very stringent. So the DEA comes in there and has like a 700-point inspection that they want to see certain things, and they install cameras, and it's very, very tight.
I'm curious that, Tyler, if you believe some of the conspiracy theories that are out, and they're easy to believe because it's basic capitalism. And so like the conspiracy theory is kind of like the guy that invented a car that worked off water that mysteriously disappeared. And everybody's like, oh, it was definitely big oil that killed this guy because he had this invention that would have destroyed an industry, right?
Yeah.
So then that type of conspiracy theory lends itself to the pharmaceutical companies, where people have suspected that there are cures to certain diseases out there.
Yeah.
And those pharmaceutical companies
withholding them
or bought them and not release them, or
slowing
don't want
them, altering them.
Like, you don't want a whole nation being cured of their diabetes or their cancer or these chronic illnesses that these pharmaceutical companies make a ton of money selling medications.
Because where will your TV shows go? Once all those people are dead, or gone, or cured.
Yeah, you don't want them cured. You want to keep a nation of sick people.
Right.
Now that seems is sick.
Write that down. Sick Nation with Tom Fair.
Hey, it's like maybe like a ridiculous conspiracy theory, but I could see how people believe it because you're like, well, basic capitalism says that if I was the owner of a cancer treatment,
it's like an airless tire, Tom, right? It's like, where's the airless tire that we all know you created?
I'm curious to what your thoughts working within the industry are.
Yeah. Oh, I think it's a very believable. Where I stop short is I ask myself, what is more valuable to, let's just call them the big, powerful elite? Is it more valuable to have a population that is sick, or is it more valuable to have a healthy population? And I just can't convince myself that a sick population is more valuable than a healthy population.
Easier to beat up, though, and control.
Maybe lots of things, and maybe I'm wrong about that. But when we're talking about stifling good meds or good treatment options, to me that seems like a denial of future riches. If you have something that works, if you've developed something that works and can fix lots of people, you want to sell that. You want to find the value in that. And so the conspiracy that things like that are around and known and pushed down is a bridge too far for me. However, I do think that the real truth is that maybe those things never really get off the ground because it would take a whole lot of investment and money and energy and resources to possibly discover that they don't work anyway. So why would we do that if we're the big boys? Why would we do that when we just have a thing we know already works well enough? It's not perfect. It's just not worth our time to investigate new stuff. So screw it. Maybe, the cure for something is out there, but we're not going to find it because we have a thing we like already, which kind of brings us back around to a question you asked earlier about, is it for the good of the population or for something else? The smaller sponsors, the smaller companies, pharma companies, the ones that look at alternative therapies like psychedelics, they really are the good of the people type joints. They really are interested in, can we find a new way of treating these problems in a way that is safe and effective and different from what's been gone on so far. So things like PTSD and drug-resistant depression and bipolar 1, things that are really, really hard to treat, those companies are in that space too. And if anyone's discovered a cure for these things and is keeping it held down, that would take a collection of miracles to pull off, I would imagine.
Where are my BP1s at? What?
Yeah, they're out there, baby.
Yeah.
You drive by them. So I do think that conspiracy theory is believable. Like most good ones, it's like, yeah, I can see that going down. I don't buy that necessarily because I just can't I can't see how keeping the population sick is worth the effort and valuable enough to do it versus discovering and profiting off of new therapies, new things that work.
Appetite suppressants and peptides, a new thing.
Absolutely.
Craze, like that's what everybody's...
They're coming into our world too.
Yeah.
We have, I can't get into super specifics here, but GLP-1 inhibitors, which are Ozempic and Wegovy, are now being thrown at things like alcohol use disorder and things like...
I've heard of that, yeah.
Yep.
I've heard of alcoholics taking Ozempic because it helps that as well.
Yep. It turns
Stops them from drinking hot dogs.
Turns down, turns down the noise.
I'm so stupid.
How about schizophrenia, though? Would you think...
How about it?
Yeah, would you think
Best sex I've ever had. My God, don't get rid of it. You can't get rid of the schizos.
You just turn it down.
Can you say that? I don't think you can say that anymore.
You're going to be able to switch in, turn it on,
You're
turn it off.
canceled now.
Yeah.
So last question, Tyler, because we got to go.
Oh, yeah, right on.
In your industry, what do we talk... Because we ask all the weird job, guests what they make, and I'll ask you specifically what you make. But in your industry, what's the going salary?
It ranges enormously, and I think it's a phenomenal industry for a young person to get into with maybe just a college degree, or maybe just an AA degree, or maybe not even that. If you did it that way, you would start at the very bottom, which means you'd be a research assistant. And I don't know what they make, but it's definitely more than a teacher or something like that. So.
Ew.
50s, 60s, something like that. And then it just balloons up after that. And the industry is a good one because it really, in this way anyway, in that it really values experience. So the more time you've put in, you could have someone with advanced degrees. I have advanced degrees. You could put someone with no advanced degrees and they could really rise to the same exact level. Me with degrees, I got to kind of skip that and enter higher than I would have otherwise. But it really is a ladder climbing thing.
That's awesome.
So the more experience you have in something like this, especially if you work on difficult stuff like psych trials or like cancer, like oncology, things like that are difficult, and you stay in there for a while, you can make a lot of money. I mean, it would be easy to be six figures, low six figures, $100,000 a year for people in the industry, and then a lot of them, big trial managers, make double that.
Wow.
And
decent amount.
We'll end with this: pharmacists, just pill counters, right? Can anybody do that? You're counting 30 pills?
I don't.
We'll end with this: pharmacists. Can anyone do it? We'll see you tomorrow.
You go to Google, you look up your interactions.
Hey, the medicine I just gave you can't eat tomatoes. It'll interact.
I'm not afraid to say on the radio that I think that's true.
Take that, pharmacists versus Raiders.
No, listen, it's a sweet gig. I'd love to be one. Hang out at Walgreens all day.
Yeah, I love Walgreens, especially the toy aisle.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow.
It is another Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
I'm Tom.
On the couch with us, ladies and gentlemen, is Joey Mazan.
I got the horn. What's up, guys?
So, Joey, lots of theme park news recently. Lots of stuff that I've seen, even with the other theme parks that have come out. So I figured there's a great time for you to come in and we'll talk all about it.
Yep. According to the news, and after yesterday's Disneyland death, theme parks have never been more dangerous.
So what happened yesterday? I didn't even hear about this.
I don't even know the details of this. I saw it while I was on the Peloton this morning. I'm sure you know because or do you know?
My feed, it's kind of funny because you know that your phone, it hears you talking and so it follows everything you like. Nothing but theme parks. That's all I get in my feed anymore.
Gotcha.
A dude died at Haunted Mansion.
Oh, why'd you laugh at me?
I'm sorry.
That's what Seth does.
Sorry. It's an Italian thing.
I would have never connected you. It might be an Italian thing. Like you look, a guy died on the Haunted Mansion.
So
it's not funny.
I'm sorry.
Now, how was it? An older person? Is it a heart attack? Is it unrelated to the actual ride itself? It seems like it because we've all been on Haunted Mansion. It doesn't seem like it's violent enough to actually cause a death. So it's a situation where they died of something that they probably were going to pass away of if they weren't at Disney. How does that work?
I want to explain the laugh. I'm sorry. It's because they always say there's 999 haunts, but there's always room for one more. So technically, if you died on the Haunted Mansion, did you fill the 1,000th spot? Now they're like, oh, no.
Okay, that does make more sense.
Sorry. That was a deep dive inside joke, and I apologize.
Yeah, my
That's
God.
why it's only funny to me.
It's
apologize.
super dark when you got to go back into Haunted Mansion lore.
Yeah. Like when you make the AIDS announcement, you have to explain why you're laughing while you're doing it.
And this was a woman, I believe, right? Like it's saying here, I think 60, a woman in her 60s? Or is this incorrect?
Well, it's... You got to preface it that nobody dies at Disneyland. Nobody dies on Disney property. They usually make it to the ambulance and they get approximately 100 yards off property before they end it.
Yeah, this was a woman. She died after riding Haunted Mansion attraction at Disneyland. The incident occurred on Monday. Let's see here.
It's just crazy. Of all the rides, it's the slowest ride on Earth.
Well,
So-
I mean, in your 60s and with bad living, I mean, I guess they could come to get you.
Or just random. If you have it has nothing to do with the ride, and that's the kind of difference between this and Stardust Racers, and because all the reports after the person died on the Stardust. We were like, this does not sound like it was just a random heart attack, whatever. This person was physically injured, and everybody was questioning, is it the ride's fault? Because then you have a problem. When it's actually the motion of the ride, the violence of the ride, or whatever.
Motion of the ocean.
Did that cause a person's death? And that's what everybody, and it seems like it didn't, or at least Universal thinks that there's no malfunction. The ride is safe because it is obviously opened back up.
Oh, they're still running with the company line. This ride is functioning as intended.
Yeah.
I think I've heard that.
And I believe them.
A billion times. I do believe them. Yeah, I absolutely do believe.
And I believe it's safe.
Yeah, I do believe them. This is such an unfortunate situation, at least the one that happened at Epic Universe here with Stardust Racers. Plus, it's also hard for me to villainize the ride. It's called Stardust Racers. That's such a positive and light name.
It's brilliant. It's got a flux capacitor on the back of it. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
That was
like
how they tied it into Back to the Future. I love that.
That was the Easter egg.
The ride is a blast. It's amazing. It is a shame that happened. happen. But I mean, this is what you want. If you want a roller coaster that when you get off it, you go, "Wow, that rocked my world." It's going to rock your world a little bit. So, you know,
what would you say to what do you guys think when the family says of this particular gentleman who passed away, and it's super sad when they say that, well, hey, the fact that you reopened it is
hurting our case.
It's
really
hurting
bad.
our case. Yeah, we're not able to gather the data that we need to show our side of things. You know, you're only showing your side of things, and you're reopening it because business is business. But you know, hey, what about us? What are we supposed to do? We're trying to make all these rides safer for everybody else. This is their line, so it doesn't happen to somebody else. That's just kind of what they're saying, right?
Yeah, I would assume that Universal does not want this to happen to anybody else, and if it did, they would be in a lot of financial jeopardy if this happened again to a person. So I would think that they did their due diligence to determine that the ride was not unsafe, and then that's the reason why it's still operating right now.
And the problem, and here's the problem, right? The problem is that we all know that this particular gentleman was in a wheelchair and had a spinal injury, and we don't know as the public, and we're really good at jumping to conclusions and yelling at each other in the internet. We look at this and everybody wants to go like, well, hey, obviously the guy wasn't strong enough to be on the ride and he shouldn't have been on there, right? There's a huge group of people. I think that when they see this guy, you just do the math and you're like, oh, well, you shouldn't have been on there, man.
Yeah.
I think that is the common thing that, so then when you hear, well, no, this ride, it was the ride that did it, it was the ride that did it. I mean, obviously the truth is somewhere in the middle, and they're going to get to that, I guess, eventually. Well, will they? I don't know.
Well,
who knows?
There will be a lawsuit in a court case.
Oh, yeah.
And it will be settled at a court. That's what because they will look at it and be like, I do not want this to go to a jury. I do not want these. So, and they will settle out of, I mean, I can't see any other way around it. They're going to settle, and this whole thing will be nothing in the future. And it'll cost Universal lots of money, and they'll look at it and be like, well, here's X amount of millions, and we'll settle it because we don't want to go through a lengthy court case. It's going to cost X amount in attorney fees and all this stuff. And then what if with some small chance it does go to a jury, and the jury, they look at giant. It usually goes against giant corporations.
It typically does.
Like giant corporations do not want lawsuits going to a jury. We all know that. That's why they settle so much, because it's cost effective to do that, and that's probably what will happen.
Why do we as a society hate successable companies so much? I don't care who you are, what you do.
If you normally don't treat people
we hate successful companies. We hate successful people. I made a joke on last Friday's show, like about the elephants that charged these canoe safari in Africa, and then was like pushing a lady down into the water. Every comment was like, "Those rich people deserve it." Screw those. All the comments were like how much they deserved it, and it was like villainizing rich people. Now, I'm not for rich people, but I'm not. I don't say like all rich people should be. And here's the thing: some people think I'm rich. It's all subjective.
Yeah. You can't
rich is subjective.
Hang on.
People think Joey's rich. He's not. But depending on your situation in life, everybody is saying the word rich is completely subjective.
Well, typically though, it means we hate you.
It does come with a negative.
That's the connotation. Is you don't, and ultra poor and rich, we hate you.
Yeah.
Ultra. I'm talking ultra poor. Gross. I'm talking gross. If you're gross poor,
a good segue if we want to talk about the raise in the price of tickets. Speaking of ultra poor,
EJ brought this up. He said for me to mention it to you 100%. He didn't give me the number, but he seemed a bit shocked. So tell me what's going on with these park prices.
All right, so we got to back it up. Think back to. I mean, we're all pretty much the same age. Think back to like the right.
I can't let you do that. I'm the oldest.
No, you're not. You're only 2 years older than me.
I'm 49, but Tom likes to think of himself as being younger. I'm trying to cheer him up a little bit. You know what? I'm gonna take I'm old man. I'm taking this one.
I'm in a completely different category. I'm in the millennial category. This
guy's Riz crazy. Yeah, he's Riz crazy, and I'm like making copy.
Oh, it's a great reference. But so what happened is
6, 7.
Still get that brain rot crap. But, so it was a rite of passage. 80s, 90s. If your dad had a good month at work or a good year at work, you got to take that big trip to Disney World.
Yeah.
You flew to Orlando, Florida, and you came down, you stayed off property because you were broke, or if you were lucky enough to stay at the Polynesian because that was what he won for selling the most cars or the most houses or the most blenders, and that was a big thing. And now the lower class has always been kind of priced out of Disney. Let's be honest. I mean, we talk about how much things cost. I'm going to get all the hate. I'm looking at the thing right now from people talking about Disney's not that expensive. If you do it this way, it's like, look, Emma.
They're laughing because we just said, why do people hate corporations? And then we're like, knock, knock, Disney's raising prices. It's like, well, that's why.
I get it.
Why.
I'm not going to take a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and a bottle of water to Disney. If I'm going to Disney, I'm going to get the $60 steak, and y'all can kiss my.
No,
anyway,
man, not me. I had to. Man, I'm with.
But it's
pack
like
a lunch.
It's like hating hippos because they do that move where they waggle their tail.
No, that makes me like them. That makes me like them.
No, but I'm saying, but that's what hippos do.
Yes.
This is what corporations do. They
just expect it. Don't hate it.
Their whole being is to make as much money as possible. That's what a corporation
That's what it's
is
set up
there
to do.
for.
Sure.
And it's not for charity. It's not to give people the best prices because they care about people, they care about the bottom line. And
exactly.
That's it.
And that's what happened. So at least the middle class knew that as the middle class, you know what? We might not get to go to Disney every year, but maybe we'll go every 3 years or every 5 years. Disney is so expensive now that if you want to have a good time, this is me talking to every Disney adult out there. If you don't buy a lightning lane, you're not going to have fun. I don't care who you are, and if you disagree with me, you're wrong, because I go more than you. If you don't buy the lightning lane, it's not fun. You can't stand in line.
That's a bold statement.
It's true, man. This is what I do. If you're going to wait in line outside in 103-degree weather for 3 hours to get on a ride that's a minute and 15 seconds long, you can do the math. It doesn't equal. It's
Yeah.
So
you're just going there to wait in line.
Exactly.
Because if the majority of your time is just waiting in a line of humanity, then unless you like that, unless you're like, I love waiting in line, and then it may be good for you. But if you want,
very rare to find people.
That's some brainwashed BS if they say that. If anybody says, I enjoy waiting in line because I like the backstory, you're so full of
And they tried the cues. They tried to make them interactive and this, that, and the other thing, and it's still not.
No.
It's not.
What's the prices now?
I believe.
And it's peak days only, right?
Well,
the chat room's saying it's peak days only, but
the chat room knows more than me. I will give them that. I'm only on my first beer, so it takes me about 6 to get normal.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Hold on,
oh my
listen,
God! You want me to pause so you can slam some beers?
No, I can do
we
it while
can
I
do
talk.
that. We're that kind of show.
I'll do it in between.
Joey
breaks.
is an unformed alcoholic.
Hey,
calm down.
I put the fun in functioning
He's a
alcoholism.
Disneyaholic. Is that what we're calling the show now?
He does go to Disney a lot, but he just doesn't know, and he needs a couple of beers.
He hasn't been there in a minute because the drinking's taking up a lot of his time.
So I just saw a story, Joey, and
right.
now I'm even starting to question if this story is reality or if this is put out by the parks for extra free
so
marketing.
now you're at where I'm at, where nothing is real?
Yeah.
Because I'm 100% nothing is real, and everything that somebody says, did you hear somebody said this? I was like, well, I don't know if I believe that.
I saw a Facebook story that came out, and I forgot what news reported it, but it said Disney's attendance is at an all-time low.
Correct.
It's the lowest it's been in a lot of years, and they described it as a ghost town. They're like, some people even described it as, quote, a ghost town. And when I saw that, I was like, that doesn't seem like it's even possible. I don't think, like... And you can tell me, Joey, you go there. I've been to Disney a handful of times only, but I don't think
Fox News did describe it as a ghost town. I have the quote.
Can you go to Disney and look around and be like, it's a ghost town in here? That doesn't seem possible.
Here's the one that's worse. It says, I'm at Magic Kingdom right now, and this place is a tomb.
Yeah.
Well, that would be good, though. Don't you want the park to yourself? And I'm like, no way. Have you ever been to a park, any Disney property, and you looked around and be like, man, there's a ghost town?
100%.
Really?
Only one time. Only one time. Animal Kingdom, it was raining. Double Bar, is that the
Dollar Bar?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Tom and Jones.
Yeah,
like that.
I'm at the
dude.
Double Bar with Andrea, and everybody started leaving. We decided to ride it out. We rode it out in the rain. There was nobody there, but there were people there, so it's not like true ghost town, so I can't go full ghost.
Yeah. Hey, but
Sort
once
of
you're like,
ghost.
yes, this is what I want.
I loved it. I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
You're a numbers guy. Think about this. If a park holds 103,000 people and it's uncomfortable at 80, it's doable at 55, Imagine being 18,000 people in that park.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Right?
Like you would say to yourself, I hit the lottery because now I can not wait in long lines.
Here's another
available.
quote. There's literally nobody here. There is no wait time for anything, somebody said. They said Space Mountain is a walk-on. Haunted Mansion is a walk-on.
Yep.
Pirates of Caribbean is a walk-on. The longest I've ever seen for a wait time today is 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
I
I go now. I hate the people.
You can knock it out in 2 hours, dude. Like literally.
Quit telling people this. We need to keep this going.
Here's the segue. I've been dying to talk to you about this. Thank you for that. This is why people hate these bloggers and vloggers. They ruin it for the locals that know what's going on. Go back in time to when the Magic Kingdom, all of the hotels at Christmas, they would set up these gorgeous gingerbread displays, and you and your boys, you would say, you know what? I'm going to take the boys. We're going to go park at the Grand Floridian. We're going to go have a gingerbread man. We're going to do the monorail crawl. Me and my wife are going to shotgun a few drinks. Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah, I've done it a couple times with the kid.
And then all of a sudden, some new kid moves to Orlando and goes, I'm going to be a famous blogger. And he hops in and goes, hey guys, this is Tom, Steve, I love stuff 316, hashtag emoji face. You're never going to believe this. If you go to the Grand Floridian and say you're only here to see the gingerbread house, they let you park for free. I just saved $30. Done. Now you can't do it anymore. Bloggers ruin it for everybody.
Yeah, but Tracy said 4 years ago you said that exact thing on our show, so you're a blogger, so you're part of the problem.
No, I'm
Tracy just said.
You know, Tracy, it's not, you're lucky you're cooler than me.
Tracy's spicy today,
I
too.
know
The
she
sales
is.
department at T&D Media today is spiced up.
Yeah. And this show
Get him, Tracy.
This show is like talking to a large conference room of people.
Yeah.
We're not talking to millions like a blogger gets.
No.
A blogger.
But it was so this and this is
They
what
don't get millions.
I don't know.
this guy ruined it for California. Out in California, you could go to their Star Wars land is actually in Disneyland. And what they would do is you would go to Oga's Cantina, which you've been to. It's a really cool thing to do.
He doesn't remember the names.
Sorry about
I remember that.
Crazy Star Wars bar with crappy table.
Yeah,
You sat at.
standing, and I'm like, is this when we're standing?
Is that the bar that everybody takes a picture in, and there's like what it looks like a chessboard table?
Yeah, that's actually in the ride. That's in Smuggler's Run, but they used to have.
What is the chessboard table? What is that?
Dejeric.
What is a Dejeric?
It's a weird, nerdy chess, which is already kind of nerdy, which is weird.
I'll look it up.
But back to the attendance, Joey.
Okay.
So why is their attendance so low? Is it because the prices?
It's because the economy is taking a solid deuce.
Okay, it's the economy.
Whenever things get weird, the first thing you cut is unnecessary expenditure, and that's always going to be a family vacation.
Okay.
It's not just Orlando, Florida. As much as we want to be like Disney, blah, 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 it's not just Disney. If you look at the numbers in Las Vegas, oh my gosh. I've been getting calls from my casino rep out there. He's like, if you come out here, I will give you free tickets every night to any show you want. I will give you free hotel room. We'll give you $300 in meal vouchers a day. Like, they are desperate for people to go anywhere.
Well, take your good friends Tom and Dan.
Well, hold on. Maybe this is the best time to do the Tom and Dan go to Vegas.
I've been wanting to do that.
Because they give us the best deals.
Destination.
I can get the whole thing sponsored. It's hilarious.
That's not hilarious. It's awesome. So we'll talk later.
Okay, so what happened is the cool thing to do for Oga's Cantina, it closes at 10 o'clock with the park. But they take reservations up until 9:45. Again, a local thing, what you do is if you wanted these cool pictures, you would book 9:45, knowing you're guaranteed 45 minutes. You're in the park 30 minutes after it closes. You basically get a free photo shoot that you'd have to pay $1 million for because there's nobody in the park but you and the other degenerates that are there.
That's clever, dude. That one's really good, Joey.
Until a blogger did it. Now you can't get reservations at Oga's anymore. In California, they canceled the reservations. They said, walk up only. Sorry, kids. Y'all are ruining it for us, man.
Yeah.
Can y'all just shut the H up?
Tom has been saying this about boating spots for a very long time. You found a boating spot with... Okay, you had found a boating spot. This is one of the last times you took... Remember when you pulled up on that beach and we all jumped out, but it wasn't... And the guy hit your boat?
Yeah.
On that trip. Okay, we were going to a spot that you had found.
Yeah.
But when we got there... Crystal was like, well, I don't know what's happening. It's like, oh, look at all these people. Like, and apparently it had made the internet, right?
Well, there's no secret.
It ruined your spot.
Yeah. And
so we had to go someplace else.
Gamblers complain about this all the time because someone will find an edge and then put it out there, and then the edge is gone. And then everybody be like, why'd you put it out there? We're all making money off this. You ruined it, you fool.
They did that down in... There used to be a game at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Tampa called... it was Saigon 5. And it
I don't
was.
think you're supposed to say that.
It was.
I watched those videos, the Saigon 5. That's where they bully the nerdy bodega owner. And they sit on his face.
It was a cross of Pai Gow and Baccarat, and the problem was it was so hard to teach people that the dealers always thought they lost, so they just kept giving people the money. And I sat at the table, and we're playing, and a guy, he had the same nervous tics I do, and he would call the numbers. And I'm like, bro, you need to shut the hell up. Shut up. And he's like, 7, 8, 8. I'm like, bro, shut up.
Oh, my God. It's like battling Rain Man.
Yes. I was like, it was, I'm just like.
Definitely. Kmart. Underwear, breathe.
Oh, toothpicks.
And it's
Boom. And then they blow up, both die.
And we're just sitting there at the table. It's like, dude, they're losing every hand because the dealer doesn't know how to play the game. And he's like, I just, and I'm like, cash out. I'm going. Cash out. I'm good. Thanks.
I like when two special needs people bully each other. I'm joking.
It's funny because it's true.
Two autistic gamblers bullying each other in Vegas. So I would watch that show.
So, Joey, okay, let's move on to another topic that we talked about at the Just Go Mo Comedy Jam that I find fascinating.
Yes, sir.
Because I can't figure it out.
All right.
So, tell me about the guy that buys all of the theme park attractions.
Sorry, I just want you to go look at Joe and be, explain trans people.
What
Pronouns.
what am I supposed to say?
Sorry, I'm sorry. I wanted something very simple, like my grandpa asking, hey, can you mirror for a second? What is Riz? I'm sorry.
Can you or can't you choose to be gay?
No one knows, Grandpa. No one knows.
Anyway, so there's a person that is able to purchase discontinued theme park rides and then sell the pieces of theme park rides to the general public.
Correct.
And so tell me about this person and how are they able to do it? For instance, a recent ride that shut down. Give us one.
The Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket.
Yeah, that was the one that I was yelling at Joey about because for whatever reason, I'm the type of person, I'm never going to buy any of these things, and I don't need any of these things. But when anything large that was nostalgic goes up for sale, I am attracted to these things. Seats for old stadiums, Yankee stadiums, one of those big Bob's Big Boys that was out in front of a restaurant. I want all of this garbage. I look at all of it. I'm like, I want all of it. I don't know if that's just the little boy in me, but you can buy the car, dude, the chairs from the Rip Ride Rocket roller coaster and actually make it your dining room table if you want to.
Yeah. And so who is the guy that buys this stuff and why is he the only person that can do it?
So what used to happen, and I am that guy that buys that stuff. I'm that dude that spent that money that buys that junk that you're never going to use, but I absolutely love it. I am.
Well, no, I know that and I know the theme park people want this for nostalgia. They want the memorabilia, but I'm not saying I know that. But if there's one guy that's able to purchase,
that's him right there. I've got him up on the screen. You can see this at YouTube.
That's
.com / at Tom and Dan Live. This is all the stuff they have for sale at the Antique Mall, and so
it's down by the mall. Exit. Not Davenport. It's a little bit further down. Lakeland.
Yeah.
It's in Lakeland.
Yeah, it's in Lakeland. You're right. But they have all the props from Rip Ride Rocket, and you can see it up on the screen here. Like, they've got all the seats, all the signage.
It's so good. What they used to do, so my favorite store, I used to love going there. It was inside Universal Studios. You walk into Universal, you hang that right. You walk past the media center where all the radio stations do their bit. You go a little bit further down, and on the left-hand side is Mel's Dine-In. Right in front of it, on the left-hand side, it was called... something of Hollywood, Traditions of Hollywood or something. It was a store.
Not Fredericks of Hollywood. That's where you go to get a crotchless panty set.
And so what would happen is you'd go in that store, and anytime Universal was refurbishing something, they would put the stuff in there for sale. They're like, we don't want this. When they redid that video game section, all the video games were for sale. When they tore down Jaws, all the sharks were in there. When they tore down Terminator, the guns were in there. The robots were in there. It was my favorite store. It was all high-ticket items. I bought the orange Simpsons couch from that store that used to be outside the ride.
So that's where you got it.
Yeah.
Because one of the first times I met Joey, just in random, because, Joey's a Joey, and he leans over to me, and he's like, I own the Simpsons couch.
So they
The
used,
real one.
They used,
Crazy, dude.
Yeah.
so that I understand. They used to sell the stuff themselves,
Right.
But they now have ceased to do that.
So imagine it takes you, let's say that couch, the Simpsons couch, cost $4,000 to put together because of fiberglass and licensing and blah, blah, blah,
the
blah, blah.
the cost.
So then let's say they sold it to me for $2,000. They're not making any money. They're just getting a tax write-off.
Yeah.
There comes a point where you're like, look, if this store is only open for a tax write-off, let's just chunk it all, give it to some dude, let him figure it out, and we'll just be done with it. It's not worth us having to have a storefront where we could actually put something that makes money.
It kind of sounds like you. Like it's a cutting cost efficiency move, right?
So
it's like this is not worth our time.
So they realize that it's better and it's cheaper to just sell it all in bulk to one person.
Less headache, dude, because you don't have to employ people to sell it.
Well, think about this. If I have a pair of shoes that I want to put on Facebook Marketplace for $20, or I throw them in the garbage because I don't want some degenerate in my house trying to get my shoes for $10, screw it, I'll throw them in the garbage. It's just not worth my time. And that's what happened with Universal. They're like, look, it's not worth our time. So
and they're still getting money. That's the thing, is they're still getting compensation.
Yeah.
And it could be, you were kind of telling me that in order to receive these items, that the person buying them may actually pay a little bit more of a higher premium because you're getting them all.
Yes.
Instead of, you're getting access.
Yeah, and it's one transaction and that's it. They're done with it. But so how do they even choose? Because here's the thing. It's not like they put it in an auction like who wants to buy all this stuff and whoever pays us the most gets it. It's just this one guy. And who is this guy?
It's no different than anything else we see in Orlando, Florida. It is literally, go back to the early 60s and some dude from California says, hey, you got a bunch of swampland. I'll give you 18 cents an acre. And we said, well, I'm not doing nothing with it. I don't want this crap. Yeah, take it. That became Disney World. That was this guy. He goes, hey, if you're just going to throw all that crap away and recycle it and have it chunked into metal, and I mean, if you're just going to throw it away anyway, I'll take it off your hands. What the?
All right.
So he was just right place, right time.
Bingo.
Or maybe he knew someone inside, a friend.
Of course he did. They played golf together, and you know.
So now this guy buys all the old theme park rides and then pieces it out and sells it personally.
Yeah.
So where could you? And then when you told me, they're like, oh, you can't see it online. You have to go to this guy's place.
Yeah. They don't list it all.
And then go and pick it out what you want, and then the prices are there. And then that's what I was like, really? This is bizarre. Like, why not put it all online and have the open market of the world bid on it? Because someone in Europe may want some sign because it's nostalgic to them. And
like they went to Rip Ride Rock at one time with their family. It was their greatest vacation they ever took was to Orlando. It meant a lot to them, so they want one of those cars, and they will pay upwards of $100,000 for one.
Yeah, putting it to the open market of the world, which is the internet, is the most the best chance to make the most money.
And we are talking about the Lakeland Antique Mall. If anybody is interested and you want to go,
it's really cool.
And it's
it is a great place.
The Lakeland Antique Mall, and that's where all this stuff is being sold.
One word: Deezerland. Think about it. If you go to this dude's place, imagine this mall is already huge. Imagine if he makes it about 40% bigger, and he says, you can buy this stuff, but it's $10 to get in. Now it becomes a museum.
Okay, so
see where we're going? I'm just saying, I might know a guy. Give it a year.
Interesting.
He wants actually physical humans to show up and browse through all this stuff. But no one this is the first time I ever even heard about it.
Exactly.
So he's not advertising it out there.
But I knew about it just from knowing more, probably for knowing more theme park people than you. It wasn't, Rip Ride wasn't the first time I heard of it. The first one I heard of it,
my favorite one, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride.
It may have been Mr. Toad's.
I wanted that. I want that car so bad. He wants about $10,000 for it. I'm thinking about pulling the trigger.
I don't think that's enough.
I don't either.
$10,000. I can get enough listeners to buy that stupid car and flip it for more.
That's my next tattoo. Mr. Toad's Wild Ride is my favorite.
Well, you got to buy the car. Get the car. Don't get the tattoo.
$10,000's a lot.
It is, but you don't think it's worth more than $10,000 a car for Mr. Toad's Wild Ride? I do.
And think about it. You put a little 2-stroke engine in it. You could actually drive it around like a golf cart.
There's so many Disney people that are crazy about that ride. ride?
Well, that's the thing.
Or do they just say they're crazy about it?
No, it's you
I
go
don't
to
think
hell.
they know it's for sale. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Like, if you don't know it's for sale, and no one knows these things are even out there, then to me, you're leaving money on the table. But maybe he's got a grand plan, or maybe he's crazy. Now,
Could be both.
A little column A, little column
could
B.
be both.
explain to me what this place looks like, and
Post some photos of it.
Is it look like all the stuff is just everywhere and it's like some kind of warehouse type of thing?
It looks like a what would you call it? A flea market you find on 192.
Okay, so it's just laid out. All this stuff is laid out. Is there price tags on each individual item, or do you have to negotiate with
some of them are big cartoon price tags, like
okay.
big pieces, almost like a sheet of paper. But for the most part, it's like it's very kick the tires. It's very like, hey, I see you got a sign from the 1987 redo of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. What are we talking? He's like, well, just so you know. And that's like, look, dude,
Look at this here. Look at all this trash. It's just trash.
Okay.
It is the
Look at that.
It is the nerdiest mecca
That's
I've ever
some
seen in my
furniture
life.
from a Disney resort, and then you can see
yeah.
like a Disney flag in the background. There's some lamps from a Disney hotel with the big novelty.
Random Happy New Year sign from
Yeah.
a float that was in a parade.
A giant, and let's go through here.
So it's crazy that just one.
we got to go to this place, dude.
Look, dude, if you guys want to do a to-go show, let me
It's
know.
just so far away, but I do want to go to this.
Yeah,
It's about a 40-minute
pirate
drive.
bed. Look at the pirate bed.
and this is
a
all
dope-ass
from
bed.
theme parks.
Yep. It's all from theme parks, hotels that are on theme parks. There's some
What
water
is
park
that?
stuff.
Look at that. That's a giant.
A cartoon alligator.
You need this cartoon alligator for your.
I do.
Next to your palm trees. Tom.
Oh, man, you got to pull the trigger.
Your
That's
sons
phenomenal.
would love that.
So what's crazy?
Oh, look at this! It's a damn. Is that Pirates of the Caribbean? What is that? That's a cart from. That's a famous cart for a ride. Is that a pirate cart? No, that's.
It's
something.
got the logo on the front from... somebody in the chat room help us out. It's an obvious logo.
Anyway, that's wild, man. Very, very cool.
So this is the first time I ever heard of this, and I guess within the circles of theme park people, they know about it. But you go to this Lakeland Antique Mall and you buy memorabilia from theme parks. So one guy buys it.
The Maelstrom.
Oh, my gosh.
That's what it was.
No kidding.
It's a boat
Thank you.
from the Maelstrom. That's
Maelstrom. What's that?
You don't remember the Maelstrom? That was the Frozen ride before the Frozen ride was the Frozen ride.
Yeah, that was the ride. People were crying when that thing shut down. That was an Epcot ride. You might be able to get your 10K for that.
Over the falls.
Yeah,
That
if
thing.
you find some rich guy that really loved Epcot, that's crazy that they have that stuff, man.
So we need to interview the guy that owns.
I think we could do that. I think that's an easy get because, why wouldn't he talk to us? Especially he wants to sell this stuff.
And why isn't the stuff on eBay or why isn't it on auction sites? It's and I know you're like, hey, he wants people in here because maybe he wants to drive traffic. But I'm like, man, my God, if you put any of this stuff up on the internet, it feels like you can make 10 times what you're making in person.
Have we thought, though, there is a whole series on Disney Plus about people who are collectors of this stuff. Maybe he's just a fun old collector who's like, I buy stuff and then I mark it up, and if I make a profit, I just go buy more stuff. He might just be a grade A, next level $1 billion hoarder.
So he gets enjoyment out of owning this stuff, and he will sell it at the right price.
Yeah.
But for the most part, because if he put it all up on the internet, if he hired a couple employees and put this all on the internet, it all could be gone in a month, and then next thing you know, he doesn't have a collection anymore.
So in a weird way,
he could sell it all and make $1 million, but then he doesn't want that. There's something about walking into his collection of oddities
Let me
that
give
he
you an
likes.
analogy.
It's weird.
Does this analogy sort of work? It's almost like he's stretching out his bankroll of life. He does want to sell this stuff, and the goal is to get to the end of life by selling all of this stuff. But if he can stretch that out for a long time and enjoy the ride a little bit too, pun intended, he's selling a little bit and acquiring a little bit. You don't want to go too fast. I got a life to live here. Is that what he's doing? Is he stretching it out because he does enjoy it?
I'm kind of doing that with my comic book collection. I have the first appearance of the Punisher. It's worth a couple $1,000s.
Yeah.
I have very rare comics, and I'm just sitting on them. And if somebody came up to me and was like, hey, I'll give you X amount of dollars for that, I'd be like, you know what? I had a good time with these. I'm going to take that money and I'm going to go buy more and keep renew, reuse, recycle. I mean, I get it.
So you're not in a hurry to sell them, but so this is basically the epitome of not being in a hurry. If you just put all the junk in some warehouse and you're like, hey, come by if you want to buy it, but you're not advertising it to the world, and you're not like, because if you did, all your stuff would be sold and then you'd have no junk.
It helps his other vendors too, because he's not the only vendor there. So if
Correct.
he's making money off of having other vendors, I saw this part of his business too. He has other vendors that are there, and he's like, if you're interested in becoming a vendor, sign up, right? And you pay a little bit of a premium.
Draw.
But if he's the main draw, he's helping the other vendors, by having people drop by.
And that helps rent and stuff. Yeah,
and helps
I
more
just
people.
want to talk to him and be like, because at first glance, I'm
What if
like,
he sounds exactly like you?
I'll definitely hate him. I hate myself. No. Anybody like me.
It's somebody offered to buy the Simpsons couch off me one time. It was a joke, and I was like, no, I kind of like it. And then I thought about it, and then COVID happened, and I sold a bunch of my collectible stuff because, money
Give
got
us some
tight.
other stuff maybe you had that we would know. Give us some of your other prop stuff.
Let's see. I had one of the guns from the Terminator.
That's pretty... See, I don't know, man. That's pretty badass.
It was taller than I am. Well, I mean, I'm only 5'7", but it was taller than I am.
It was meant for one of the machines.
Yeah, the Terminators would shoot it in the ride. I had one of the cows from her Twister.
Oh, one of the ones that would fly by?
Yep.
Yeah.
And you all got it from this guy?
No, I got it from the store that used to be in Universal Studios.
Okay.
Yeah, before they started doing it.
I got a couple of antique cash registers and things like that. I'm Cadillac Pat Light. Like, I want to get to his point, but I'm not there yet.
Interesting.
Well, he's not married yet. We'll see how that fleshes out. You know what I mean? There's still a lot of time in that.
And so this guy's got the rights. Oh, I guess the rights are, I don't know if there's any sort of contractual thing with Disney, but he also has Universal stuff? Or?
I think it's just a convenience thing. I think he showed up and said, I have a check. Give me a number to put on the check, and I'll take your crap. And they said, all right.
Like the water parks too, and everything.
I actually almost bought from when they first did the little redo of Volcano Bay over at Cabana Bay.
Yeah.
They had the palm trees with the blue neon lights.
Oh, yeah.
I almost bought one of those. They were only $200, and I went to get one. And by the time I got there, they were all sold out. I was like, oh crap!
I will say this: there are a lot of little incidental things, and I've been told before. Mike Aiello's tipped me off to this. I think maybe Summer sent it to me one time.
They're the coolest.
But there are little items that they have for sale. So if you do know somebody that's really into theme parks, you can legit blow their mind for Christmas by going there and spending a couple $100 and buying something that will legitimately make them freak out.
Not even a couple hundred. I actually, when they closed the Shrek ride, they sold the green 3D glasses for $5 a pair.
Yeah.
So I bought 5 pair, and
Why
I just
not?
gave them to relatives that really liked Shrek, and they thought it was the coolest thing on earth.
Yeah, it is cool. You can imagine if you're a huge fan of Universal to have just the restroom sign from Rip Ride on your man cave restroom.
Right,
I mean, that's cool.
It's huge. And they're not as expensive as you'd think.
No,
Most of
they're
those,
not.
I have a sign on the door to my studio where I do all my YouTubing from, and it's this part of the park is closed for future refurbishment with the Universal logo on it. It was $25.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's just people love it. They see it and they're like, that's amazing.
Because it's real. Yeah, I like that stuff.
So this made me think, what do they do with all the stuff in a Halloween Horror Nights house that gets discontinued? Because that's a lot of memorabilia, and if they're never going to come back with it, does this guy get it, or do they sell that stuff themselves?
I'm going to need help from the chat room for the official number, but I think I'm a good friend of mine is on the team at Universal that actually makes the props and things.
Yeah.
If this is correct, I was told that the Five Nights at Freddy house that's at Halloween Horror Nights this year, those animatronics cost between $3.6 and $3.8 million to make. They will not be getting rid of those. They're going to be using those in the future.
Yeah,
Of course,
There is a giant warehouse behind property where they do like Dave's School and all that, and that's just a giant storage unit for the HHN stuff.
We've been there in some of the warehouses when we did the walkthroughs back with the Halloween Horror Nights.
We were lucky enough to see them building. I'll never forget this. It's my coolest Universal moment. You and I got to see them building the wolf heads that would come through the walls.
That's rad.
And the crate, and they had I want to say they were building 12 of them or something. And we got this. There were
it was
12.
like American Werewolf in Paris one year.
And they were sewing them by hand, and we're walking in, and they're like, come over here. What are you guys doing? And they're building them by hand, and they just had music on. They're just sitting there hand sewing werewolves.
So I understand the animatronics, but all the other decorations, it feels like you could sell, they make some sign for some house that's popular. It's like you could sell all that stuff, or at least sell it to this guy, and he could sell it to the public.
They do sell some of it. You'll see the year that it was kind of 80s themed and Stranger Things, and they had those random video or arcade cabinets that you would walk up to and take your picture with.
Yep.
They sold those. But like Jason, we're up to like Jason 37. They're going to reuse it. Friday the 13th, reuse it. Ghostface, reuse it.
Yeah.
Fisherman's Wharf has become other versions of Fisherman's Wharf. So they do
So
reuse
they're all recycling it,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's with that stuff. It's like, well, we could take a tax write-off, or we could just not spend $8 billion rebuilding this crap in 7
Yeah,
years.
okay, all right.
It also needs to be hyper specific. Like if you look at like Rip Ride, it's so specifically
Yeah.
Rip Ride. Whereas Werewolf, well, we're probably going to have another Werewolf.
Of course.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
so we might want to stash those things. Plus, seeing those people hand make that stuff, it would be. You can't even put a price tag on it. It's like a one of one.
To put a price tag on it, if you want to do something amazing, because we still have a month of Halloween Horror Nights left for people that are out of town, something amazing to do.
Did you change that? Did you not say HHN because you thought Tom was going to punch you in the face?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm afraid of how strong he's become.
No, because you went you were like Halloween Horror Nights, like you were scared.
If you're scared at all of Halloween Horror Nights, but you got kids who are into haunted houses and think it's cool, you go during the daytime. You got to book it up because it's filling up. It's called Unmasking the Fear. They take you into 6 of the 10 haunted houses during the daytime, and you walk through the haunted house like you would at night, but the lights are on. And they're like, so this is Terrifier, and right over here is where he's skinning a woman, and you go around here on the bend. This is where he's murdering a person. Like, they show you where it's really cool to see.
Well, that when they started announcing that, I'm like, this is brilliant. And also it made me think of like when we started doing podcasts with them back in the day, like we were the first podcast to ever walk through a house
With the lights on.
With the lights on.
Nobody had ever done that.
Yeah, no one ever done that. And then I was like,
Now we'll never do it again.
yeah, of course. But I was like, I bet you someone. I'm like, what if someone heard that in sales? Because I could imagine be like, hey, we should sell this because people will buy these tours
Yeah.
like to walk through these houses.
Andrew's
they're like,
friend,
they're
yeah.
just sitting there. They're not doing anything. It's like let's charge people to come walk through these houses,
Yeah.
and they started doing it.
Our buddy Lorelai does it every single year. We love her so much, but she loves horror, but not really haunted houses. So she wants to go through other houses, so she just books the tour.
I do know that there's a Tom and Dan magnet on a refrigerator in one of those rooms.
Yeah, we got a stop sign. I think maybe this year too. There's
Nice.
We
But-
got a little Easter. We always have a few Easter eggs in the houses.
To tie it together, this goes back to 20. I love this. I've been in Florida longer than Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I moved here when I was 21 and I'm 43, so I'm as Floridian as it's going to get at this point. But the year I moved down here, my buddy Dustin goes, hey man, have you ever been to Halloween Horror Nights? And I said, what's that? He goes, they turn the entire haunted house, or the entire park into a haunted house. Sounds amazing. He goes, here's the deal. We have to get there at 5 o'clock. We have to book a reservation. We have to go to Finnegan's. We sit down, and then they close the park. Then they give us a wristband. We stay in here. They open it up early, and there's like 40 people in here that know the secret. And then you get to go out and you get to be in the park first. Now they sell it.
Yeah.
For $29.95, you can stay and scream early. And it's like, Maron, this is
I did that. I think I did that with Mike Aiello one time. I think I came in and sat and we ate, and then they opened it back up. We went back out,
And now they're like, well, apparently there's 8,000 people that also want to do this. Let's sell the ticket. I'm like,
And please refrain yourself from saying Italian racial slurs.
yeah.
sorry.
Be careful. I don't know where that lands. I thought it was on The Sopranos.
Sorry.
All right, so we got a couple of minutes left.
Okay.
Anything else you want to put out there?
Any more
Joey?
racial slurs? Yeah. We have time for 2-3 more.
The funny thing is, so just want to say thanks for letting me come hang out here. Thank
This will
you
be
to
the last time because of the racial slurs.
I believe it. Cancel culture.
I'm joking.
Huge
he came,
thanks.
he funneled 3 beers and went crazy on the couch.
Thanks to I had a blast with you guys at the Mo Comedy Jam.
Oh man, that was
I want to
super
say
fun.
thank you so much. I appreciate all but you guys. Ross Pageant was out there. Tracy Claus
But
came
mainly
out.
us, right?
Of course, my heroes.
Just to make sure.
Can I? If Tom will give me a hug, but I don't.
Not today. Not today. He'll not.
No,
maybe another day.
I cursed that I'm in Italian. I lost my.
It's like hugging a parking meter.
Putting your arm around a cold parking unit.
So it's Halloween Horror Nights has been a blast this year. Mickey's
Favorite house.
Favorite house. This is going to be a bad one. I really love the house that everybody hates, the doll one. It's literally, they took Sid from Toy Story, gave him a sister, and the entire house is him mutilating dolls. At one point, you walk into an Easy Bake oven where he's cooking the dolls, and everybody puts that as their 10th house. I love that house. I think it's hilarious.
Okay, real quick.
Yeah.
Halloween's on a Friday this year,
Yep.
which doesn't happen too often.
No.
And I imagine that going to Halloween Horror Nights on Halloween on Friday
is going to be awesome.
would be awesome, but would be the most packed I could ever imagine Halloween Horror Nights being. Is there any advantage to doing that? Is there something special they do on actual Halloween night itself? Anything like that?
Like a ceremony at midnight?
It's just like anything
I
abnormal.
would like a ceremony at midnight.
Yeah, something special.
It's just a hangout. It's just there's more annual pass
Joe,
holders.
that's not what we want.
I mean, it's amazing. You should
it's
see.
Halloween night. It's here.
Yeah. I mean, I'm guessing the characters are going to be extra
Scary.
You know, I guess
be on your
vibrant.
A game.
Like, because everybody's going to be like, wow, it's Halloween night. Like, we've been doing this since September. Like, now it's, you know,
I'll
I'm going
give
to put
you
in
this
all
one.
maximum effort.
The best characters and performers will probably be booked. I can give you that one.
They do that and they get their award.
Yeah.
That's when they award whatever the House of the Year is.
Yeah.
I believe it has to be original. There's 5 sponsored content and there's 5 original intellectual properties. So I think it has to be an intellectual property that Universal created, but they give a big award ceremony out and they all come walking out together. It's really cool.
Okay, so it may be the most entertaining night out of all the nights, right? Halloween night on a Friday to visit Halloween Horror Nights.
I think so.
But probably the most packed.
You know, not just that, they usually do a discount on a lot of the HHN merchandise that night. So if there's that T-shirt that every night you go and you're like, I want that shirt. If you go on the last night, it's like, wait, 30% off? I really want that shirt. So
don't let me catch you wearing it in November. I'm going to shame you.
or maybe because the people, like kids, want to go trick-or-treating Friday night or like on Halloween
Saturday, I was kind of going to make a case for Saturday because what if you can't get off at 5? Early, what if you got a real Scrooge of a boss? So, and then kids want to go trick-or-treating, might actually make Saturday close to equal. Because I could see, like, the first day after Halloween just being bananas.
Yeah. They keep it open till, like, Monday, right?
It goes the entire week through. What's really cool, though, is if you bought the Frequent Fear Pass, you also get the first and the last Saturday of the festival. So it's going to be busy because you got a lot of locals there, too.
Gotcha.
Okay. That's good to know.
All right, Joey, we appreciate it.
Thank you, buddy.
Throw out your email if anybody wants a private tour of any of the parks. Joey Mazan knows them all.
I appreciate it. Hit me up, joeymazan at yahoo.com, the Joey Mazan on Instagram, and thank you to all the YouTubers, the Joey Mazan. I keep it easy.
Awesome. All right, we will see you on Monday.